All right, what's...
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
So you said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
Won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
Doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Mute myself again. The number to call is 702-957-1037. I love it when I mute myself. One more time, that's 702-957-1037. You can join the Discord at troubledminds.org to be part of the show. And like I was saying, every once in a while I like to cut myself off on the intro just because, well, it makes things more challenging, you know what I'm saying? This is just too easy for me, so I have to kind of, challenge myself by muting the first 3 minutes of the stream. But anyway, welcome back to the show for those of you that were out there not able to hear me, and we're getting going. So like I was saying in the intro there that you guys couldn't hear, this is the show where we talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. Of course, those things being aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, and all the rest of those things, right? You know the drill. I'm not going to repeat them because, well, I just said it, and, well, if you can't read minds, then maybe you're in the wrong place. No, I'm just kidding. But okay, so basically that's the way this show works. Again, like I said, 702-957-1037 is the phone number if you want to be part of the show tonight. So what happened last night is we talked about how just the media has kind of pivoted, and the mainstream coverage of UFOs has just really gone off the charts. Okay, and as predicted, the different factions in ufology, right? The different folks that are always arguing about who's what aliens are here, or there's no aliens, or there's some aliens and they, some are happy and some are mad, and some want to eat us and some want to help us, right? Like those types of factions where everybody seems to disagree. Oddly enough, this is funny. As an aside, oddly enough, ufology is not any different than pretty much anything else, right? If you look at the political spectrum and the political divide and the things that people are just can't agree on a damn thing, well, ufology is exactly the same way. Some people swear that all the aliens are here, and they're, like I said, they're bad, they're good, they're this or that. Everybody thinks they know, right? And everybody has an opinion, and that's fine. It's okay. But it is funny when people have these opinions and then start fighting about them, right? And that's what's happening. Well, kind of what I expected, basically, because you can't just crank this out, have a UFO narrative kind of come from the mainstream media and the government without people getting suspicious. Well, namely, I was suspicious. I still am suspicious, and that's partially what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to continue. This is basically part 2 of last night's show, because for one reason, we had YouTube kind of go down. It was wonky halfway through the show. I think there was some sort of a YouTube server outage in the United States and in some other parts of the world. So basically, the archive is fine. Everything checked out. It's good, but the live stream itself was struggling. So anyway, I thought it was a good idea to do part 2 of this show, because we didn't really get to hear from you guys in the first half, because number one, the YouTube was down for most of it, and then 2, we're going to have Ash on the show in a little bit, and so we're going to get his take on exactly what we were talking about yesterday as we kind of go through the news again. So not just the same news from yesterday, there's more news regarding UFOs. And so what I mean by that is that like I said, just go to any search engine and type in UFO and then slap the news tab, like slap it, bam, and you'll see what happens. There's a whole bunch of just crazy news stories pouring out now about how now UFOs are real, right? I mean, I've got one. I pulled one out today. I pulled it. I'll get to it in a little bit. But just for instance, of the weird stuff that's happening now, is I found a financial article written about UFOs, meaning that that they were trying to predict what would happen to the financial markets if the government, in the 6-month time frame thing in June that we've been talking about for quite a bit, if the government actually came out with the information that it's real, that the UFOs are here, that the aliens are aliens, and right, all the rest of that stuff. So that's kind of, it's weird to me that now we're having like mainstream pivots to have conversations like this that, well, I mean, these are the conversations we have all the time on this show. So it's not really anything new to me, like thinking about these things. It's not really anything new to you. I mean, this is the Fringe FM. This is Troubled Minds after all. So it like this stuff, like I'm not rattled. I'm not afraid. I'm not scared of this. I don't care if the UFOs are here to eat us. I don't care if the UFOs are here to help us. I'm not afraid either way, and that's just the way it's going to be. And so, apparently other people are a little squirmish and not really ready to accept the fact that maybe UFOs are in the sky. And not just that we may not know what they are, but also that let's say they might be piloted by extraterrestrials or dimensional entities or what have you. Anyway, so like I said, it's literally just conquering the news cycle. And so for those of you that missed part of the show yesterday or weren't able to stick around for a lot of it, what I talked about was that it made me a little bit suspicious that basically we had the 60 Minutes coverage, and then all of the mainstream media follows it. We had CNN talking about it. We had Fox News talking about it. We've got everybody all across the spectrum in the mainstream talking about UFOs now. But to what end? Because I kind of said, look, if when the previous president was in office, they didn't give it a second, right? Because they couldn't spare a second. It had to be propaganda, right? It had to be that take this guy down. So it makes me wonder, right, as part of their patty cake brigade for the new administration, is this part of it that seems, I don't know, what would you say, that seems just part of the cover-up, part of them trying to cover the fact that that some weirdness is going on, and like I said yesterday, maybe the Gaza-Israel stuff, maybe the Bill Gates stuff. And actually I found some good information about Bill Gates last night and how he actually controls the news cycles with his money, which is interesting. So those types of things cross my mind, okay? And again, don't get me wrong, like I want to believe just like everybody else, and I want to I want to be part of this whole disclosure process if it's actually happening. However, if this is some sort of ruse or some sort of misdirection or some sort of disinformation campaign from the mainstream media. Of course, we've talked about Operation Mockingbird in the past and how the mainstream press works with the CIA to control narratives, things like this. So it's important. It's, again, like I said, like I was saying yesterday, it's important to really think about the propaganda and what they might be trying to distract us from. And in this case, like I said last night, it's possible, very possible, that the UFOs in the news cycle are the shiny object, and they're trying to keep us fixated on this one thing when these other things are really going on. So let's go to we got a phone call here. Let's go to it looks like Wes in Arkansas. What's up? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you?
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing well. What do you think? What's on your mind tonight? What do you think about this UFO stuff in the mainstream media?
So I try to approach this with a varied level of skepticism and open-mindedness, but I feel like we should approach the subject with as much scientific collaboration as possible. With that being said, what we're looking at now, the next thing that they'll put in front of us is that it's a threat or it's a danger or there's something that has to be done with it. In my personal opinion, if whatever these are, these observables, as I call them, were a threat, I feel like they could have done away with us no matter what. We would be nothing but a mosquito on their arm. The next thing is that the way that we will be approached with the media is the same way that they do it with everything else. Try to gain our attention and use that to push a narrative, to push us in a direction. Again, like I said, I try to approach this with the most scientific mindset possible, and science and war don't really have a collaboration in my universe. Allowing a narrative to be pushed that is not a scientific study is dangerous for everybody involved. It's dangerous for us as ground-level citizens. It's dangerous for governments, and it's dangerous for whatever they are. As we well know, usually America is shoot first, ask questions later, which is unfortunate. And politics will get in the way of an actual scientific study. I'm sorry?
I'm with you. I'm listening. I'm still here.
Oh. The way I see it is that politics will get in the way of an actual study. And the first thing that's going to be on every corporate person's mind and media person's mind and politician's mind is, how do we make money off of this? And I'm sure, we could go into the whole backstory of we've found them before and the government's making them and yada, yada. Again, I don't want to speculate, but going forward with speculation, that's what I think. I think it will be used as a money device, a propaganda device to push us into a new money-making war, because America is spending money like it's going out of style, and they're collecting assets right now because we're going bankrupt. So this will be one more piece of the pie. It could have something to do with Project Bluebeam, if you want to go down that rabbit hole. But I will to everybody listening to this, don't take the bait. Approach this with a scientific mind. Have open-mindedness, but be skeptical. Everything that you hear is not true. I think the best results that we can get from this is to go forward with a very thorough process of gathering the rawest data that we can. And if there is some sort of contact, we need to initiate it with the friendliest, most openness that we can, as a species, contribute to. And just to kind of throw it out there, we don't need an interplanetary war.
Absolutely not. Now, okay, so I'm with you in that we need to keep an open mind and also be skeptical at the same time. It's a very difficult thing to do, though, because you have so many people running away with the concept that, the aliens are here, the aliens are here. Then you have science really reluctant to even make a statement anywhere close to that. Even though I think we can all acknowledge there's a ton of UFOs in the sky. Many of us have seen them, people out there listening to the show. I've seen UFOs that are unexplainable in my opinion. But again, right? It's up to us to really be even-minded here. I think you're completely correct, and understand that maybe a lot of this stuff is our technology. A lot of this stuff is probably some sort of highly secretive military project that is kind of wrapped in the UFO game as a propaganda tool to keep people off of it, which wouldn't surprise me a single bit. But again, it just depends on who you ask. Like I said, there's that one young lady that says that she had contact with extraterrestrials recently. She had that thread on Reddit. Her name goes by the name Anjali, and Anjali, I think she says. And so, like I said, it just depends on who you ask. You ask a scientist, Seth Shostak of SETI, and he will say, nope, no evidence of any of it, and there's no aliens here. So, I don't know. Okay, so with all of that said, as you know, if you listen to the show at all, I'm really not the answers guy. I'm not the guy that's going to confirm or deny any of this, because I don't know. I don't have an insider source like many of these people claim. I've never met an alien like many of these people claim. Whatever. I'm not any of that. But I am able to ask questions and use my own brain, and that's valuable to me. So let me ask you this. With all of this kind of coming out into the news cycle, what do you think? If you say you're trying to keep an open scientific mind, what does your gut say? If you skip the science, because the science clearly says there's no aliens here, what do you think? Do you think that there's a break in that from the scientific community, and it's actually not true, or do you think that it's completely true and we're just wrapped in a bunch of propaganda? If you had to give it a guess.
To be honest with you, I would have to say both. I don't know enough, and I don't have enough data to actually say, for certain that aliens are still here or that we're being contacted. Do I believe that we've been visited? Absolutely. Is there a phenomena happening? Absolutely. I think there's enough data and evidence and corroboration there to at least establish the point. And this is no small thing that the government and a Pentagon spokesperson has come out and said. Off of the East Coast, we've encountered them every single day for years. So you are foolish to not take that as an accountable standard. But now, just because it's an unidentified flying object doesn't mean that it's not from this earth. I've read a lot of accounts. I have studied a lot of these people that claims and experiences and incidents. To be honest with you, about 80% of them, I don't believe. Maybe even fully their story, but at least some of it I don't believe. Bob Lazar, name drop there, is one of them that I do believe. The reason that I do believe him is that he continues to be proven correct. And there's a lot of naysayers, and of course that's going to come with the program. But the man has seen some things, and he has made claims that have happened. We wouldn't even know about Area 51 without him. Again, another name drop, and who knows what goes on there. But the significant one for me is Element 115, and his design diagrams of the actual craft. I don't know if you know of or have read Stoyan Sarge, or if you have read Paul Potter. I think that their designs are actually kind of based off of what Mr. Lazar said, but scientifically, the principles there, I can't say whether or not it would actually work, but the maths out. I think, I don't want to promote myself here, but I'm up here in Alaska, and I just ordered a bunch of equipment, a dosimeter, tri-field meter, camera, such. And I'm going to try to start the raw data project is what I'm calling it. I'll only be able to do it locally here for now until maybe, someday I could get funded or find the means to expand. But in Alaska, I can basically stay on the road system and use MUFON's network and personal advertising to go out and talk to these people and get interviews. And I don't want interviews of calibers of, I don't want to lead them. I don't want to be the next Bud Hopkins. I simply want to sit them down, go through a checklist, and get their raw story. Use body language interpretation on the video to see what they're saying. I don't want to call anybody a liar, but also I want to make sure that I've got the rawest, most uncut, most manageable data that I can get. And the other thing with the equipment, is hopefully I can get to somebody where it's maybe a day old, maybe a couple of days old, maybe a couple hours old, and use that equipment to see if I can find any magnetic resonance or radioactive resonance. But this is what we need to be doing, in my opinion, in the UFO community. And I hate to even use UFO, but until now I've been calling them observables. But if you are a true fan, I guess you would say, and you really want to learn this, sitting in front of the TV and eating documentaries, it's not going to get you anywhere except spin your head up and throw you down rabbit holes. And pretty soon you go from being the type of person that you can believe it and you can see the logic to it to now you're listening to some pretty outrageous crap, in my opinion. Again, abductees and stuff, I'm not knocking on that. I definitely believe that people have had encounters. Now, that doesn't mean that anybody who comes out and just says, I met an alien, that I'm going to believe them. But there are some very compelling events and evidence for that. And that's what I'm trying to tap into. And I feel like if we truly want to learn the truth of that, it's not going to come through a TV or a phone screen at us. We have to go out and we have to gather it, we have to collaborate it, and we have to present it to the people that can get it put in front of committees and boards and push it through. Because what we're about to see with this quote-unquote disclosure is going to be 10% of, I'll call it fact, and 90% crap that they're going to feed us, like you were saying, that'll get us off on a sidetrack there. So, again, I urge anybody who is listening and anybody who has a love for this field of science, do the research yourself. Go and gather the actual data, do these interviews, and gather people together. The reason this is going to the extent that it is now is because of all of the momentum that we have gathered through the years has led us to this point. And we can keep this going. But now we have to get to the nitty-gritty of it, and we have to pull that raw data out and present it to the world and say, this is what is happening, and we want to know, and be able to back it up scientifically. And hopefully the scientific field will continue this study and branch out and truly become a science, because whatever these are, it can advance us and save lives and save the planet and change the way that humanity interacts and how we treat each other and where we're going forward from this.
I agree.
I didn't mean to get on a rant there.
You're good. You're good. I let you go because we had time. We are out of time, though. Do me a favor, Wes. I appreciate the call. Great information tonight. I couldn't agree with you more in many of the things you said there. Do me a favor. When you get your operation up and running, let me know. I'll help you at least spread the word, get the word out, okay? Thank you so much for the call tonight. Please call back at some point. I'd love to hear when you get started with this new project, okay? Appreciate that. That's Wes from Alaska. Thanks for the call, my friend. We'll talk to you soon. Good stuff there. Simple as that, guys. You want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. That's Wes from Alaska. And he's trying to get something good going. More UFO conversations after the break. Don't go anywhere. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Be right back. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and DLive. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. Tonight, this is part 2 of a show from last night. We were talking about UFOs, and not just how we normally do. We're wondering why the mainstream media has picked them up and they're running with this. That's the question. Do we have every reason to be suspicious? In my opinion, I would say yes. Suspicious of what, though? I think that's really what this comes down to. If you want to be part of the show tonight, we are taking your phone calls. You can give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And it's a big conversation. There's a lot of implications here based on all the news that's been coming out, and which we'll get to that in a little bit. As always, guys, I prefer to talk to you. So if you want to call instead, and we'll just do calls all night, I'm totally good with that. But I do have news we'll get to in just a sec. That first call by Wes, by the way, was fantastic. Thank you again, Wes. And I want to just kind of circle back to that for just a second. And I couldn't agree more. Like I was saying, I don't know if you were listening during the break there on YouTube or anywhere else, or you had us on Fringe with the commercials there. But the point being, I think you're spot on. I think that like scientifically, kind of like in the vein of who was the guy? Probably the best ufologist ever. He's passed away now. Stanton Friedman, in my opinion. Very good dude. He spent a lot of time doing actual government research, interviewing witnesses, spending time on the ground, and doing things like that. And that's the old school ufology I think we need to return to if we want to actually usher in whatever this new era is going to be. And what I'm fearing about this and why I'm partially suspicious is that once you give the government anything, they bastardize it, they twist it, they distort it, and then they send it back to us, and we have to try and figure out what the heck is going on. So that was a fantastic call, Wes, and I meant it. When you get that running off the ground, you let me know. We'll have you on the show, and we'll talk about what stuff you have found and whatnot if you're keen to do it. So thank you again for that phone call. But okay, so lots of things to talk about, lots of things to think about regarding this disclosure project or whatever this is called. But okay, so we got a phone call. We're going to go to that, but that's what's on deck tonight, and we are taking your phone calls the whole show. So if you guys have a hot take on this, if you think I'm off, if you think I'm wrong, it doesn't matter. Remember, I'm not going to chew your head off if you disagree with me. It's part of having a conversation. I firmly believe we can be friends and agree or disagree, and we'll be okay with it. Okay. All right, it's all good. Let's go to Paul. What's up, Paul, in New Hampshire? How are you, my friend? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike.
Hey, Mike. How are you, brother? Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. You too. Welcome to the show. I know you've been watching the news, my friend, because that's what you do, and you had to have noticed all this crazy stuff that's hit the news cycle with all the UFOs. What do you think is really going on, my man?
Well, it's so funny you said that, Mike. I just kind of did about a half hour on my Facebook page, just going live and talking to a couple of guys that hang up, and it just kind of seems to me. I remember back in the day when I started this 20 years ago, and my father would be like, "Paulie, it's the same old stuff. When are we going to get to something new?" And then we finally get to something new. But if you look at the truth of this, it's really not true. It's really not new, Mike. This happened in 2017, 2004. It's been going on for years. And here we go. My whole thing about this is when you're in the worst news cycle that a government has had in years, that now they're going to just keep bringing this up every night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well, it was on Friday on Tucker, it was Saturday on Hannity, and then they reran it, and then they do the Sunday thing on CBS, and then you got CNN talking about it, and now, even better yet, you got people that, I have to say, I'm not going to name names, but have knocked me and called me crazy for what I believe. And now here they are bringing me up over and over again. It's saying, so this is this nut guy in New Hampshire. It's actually real, and now we're supposed to believe it.
Yeah, well,
and I just think that it seems like
it's silly.
Too good of a time for them to pull this out. Too much of a reason to get your mind off of the real thing, and also use this for a rhetoric to, well, if the government says it and news says it, now we have to believe it. But speaking of science, by the way, I don't want to get political, so stop me if you think I'm wrong, my friend, but I really think this is just ridiculous, and it's never going to end.
Well, okay, so I think you're right there with a lot of this, and it's just propaganda, pure and simple. And you're right. Like I don't know if you listened to this show last night. We were really talking about this same thing, but I couldn't get to all the news. There's more of this today. It just keeps coming. Like you said, it's every day now. Ever since that 60 Minutes thing on Sunday, and it was even a lead up to that, right? It started kind of clunking out in some articles you wouldn't expect to read, and then this guy started talking about it. That gal started talking about it. Everybody started talking about it, and then suddenly 60 Minutes has its thing, and now UFOs is the topic of the day. Even the normies are talking about UFOs now, and it's like, wait a minute. So what's new? What's changed? Nothing. Just like you said, and I agree.
Yeah, well, I think what's changed is, like I said, they don't have anything else to talk about, because if they talk about the real news, what are we talking about? Border crisis, economic crisis, oil crisis, war in Israel, and now we need something to get. And people are sick of it, by the way. So now you have people are sick of this crap. Coronavirus, get a vaccine, wear a mask. Well, now we need ratings, because our ratings are going on. And I can prove that, too. I can look at the numbers. I think you know how to do an algorithm. You can look at ratings. Let's talk about what happened on Jeopardy. And I know this has nothing to do with it, but it's just evidence. And what I'm saying is that they will do whatever rhetoric they can to continue the non-stop barrage of bullshit. They're going to...
Hey.
Oh, sorry. Are we...
Settle down, Paul. Settle down, Paul. That's strike one.
Believe me.
Next time I cut you off, friend, you know the rules. All right, go ahead. Continue, please.
Sorry about that.
Family-friendly show. Family-friendly show.
Sorry.
No, I'm with you. I understand you're frustrated. I'm frustrated as well with this. That's why I'm talking about it tonight. Again, and so, okay, and I think you're right. So you mentioned a few things, right? The oil prices, this pipeline hack, the solar winds hack, right? There's all kinds of stuff, Hamas and Israel and this whole bit, Gaza. There's an unbelievable amount of things that are happening right now that are unflattering to the leaders of the world. And so as a result of that, I was kind of saying this last night. Here's another one. Bill Gates, I believe that the media structure that's been defending him for years is crumbling. And so they need some sort of shiny object. And I think the timing is perfect. So they can roll out UFOs, just like you said. Let them do their thing and have all the normies talking about UFOs. Hey, did you hear that the Pentagon said the UFOs are real? Wow, man, aliens. Whoa. Right. And then here we are, been talking about this for a very long time, and it's okay. I think exposure is good, but I think when it's used as a distraction in a dishonest manner, it becomes not so good. And so I think it's possible that that's where we're at. That's where we're sitting. And I don't blame you for being frustrated. I am as well. It's this is one of those kind of bittersweet moments when you expected that maybe this would get taken seriously in the mainstream media at some point. And it seems so phony to me. It seems so, very superficial. And that's where we're at, man. That's the world we live in. So there you go. You get a minute to calm down. You're breathing. Take a deep breath, my friend.
Yes, I am. And as a matter of fact, I love what you said there, because you're right, Mike. You nailed it right there. It's all of a sudden, let's slow it down and we'll get the crazy something to talk about. And by the way, when you mention that, they never stop that rhetoric. They continue to remember, well, this may be a little out of this world and you may be crazy. And then we talked about this. And then when it came to, I think the last time one of these guys mentioned it, I was watching some of the news cycle. Somebody said, well, it'll be interesting to see what comes in the months or maybe years ahead. And that's the media rhetoric, because that's what's going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's been happening for 50 years, and all of a sudden, well, maybe in the next couple months, in the next couple of years, so the next election cycle, where, you know, we talked about the military complex, and let's fund money into a threat that's not there, when we actually have real threats. Again, we can't get our oil pipes open because we're shutting them down ourselves. And I think if we didn't figure out what happens there, we shut them down ourselves, and then they're shutting them down. And what do we have? Half the East Coast out of oil. You're lucky you live in Vegas right now, man. I live on the East Coast. And good luck getting a gallon of gas unless you got a couple of Tupperware bottles or one of those little blue bins you can fill up with gas in a bag.
I saw
plastic bags, and all of a sudden that's on TikTok.
Yeah, I saw.
Right next to the fake UFO video.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. All right, so I did see the videos of people putting gasoline in plastic bags. That's a bad idea, guys. Don't do that. But yeah, no, you're right. So there's so many not flattering things happening with the leadership in this country right now that I think you're right. I think that. Part of the distraction is that the timing is good, and I don't think it's an accident because they plan these things, right? We've talked about this information operations.
It sure doesn't seem like an accident. No, It sure doesn't seem like an accident to me, Mike. I kind of saw this coming all along. I've seen it for 20 years. I've been saying what was going to happen, and you know, if I'm wrong, then you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy or just out of my mind or a drunk guy in a field, New Hampshire. But I'm going to tell you. I saw this coming. I told people what was going to happen. Now it's happening. And I think we went through this. There's all these people that are clamoring for disclosure. And so now we got to buy electric cars when we could be having free fuel. And if aliens are real, because this is the whole thing, now it's a threat. It's a threat that's been here all along. If we study this like you have, like I have, like I'm sure plenty of your audience has, it's pretty obvious, and so why is it a threat all of a sudden now? Because the real threat is underneath that, and in order to sneak that real threat in, we have to have another threat to turn your attention away from it. And yeah, propaganda, I don't know. It just really seems ridiculous what we're going through. And I'm on the page now where I had said before, I think a year ago with you, we need to vote for local people and this and that. And, you know, maybe we can change politics. That's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen.
The corruption runs deep, and it doesn't even matter. You change out the faces and the names, and the corruption still runs deep. Yeah, I'm with you, my friend. Everybody, this is Paul from New Hampshire. He's got a Facebook and a YouTube page, New Hampshire UFO Hunter. Check him out. I appreciate the call, my friend. I appreciate your passion. I appreciate your frustration, and I concur. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it, Paul.
Yeah, sorry about the swear word, Mike. Sorry about that. I know. I gotta, write my notes down next time and remember not to say that S word. And I love what you're doing, dude. You know that. Thanks for having me and putting up with me, and we'll talk soon.
Appreciate it, my man. Soap in the mouth. Soap in the mouth. Talk to you next time. Thanks, Paul. There we go. If you want to be part of the show, we are taking your phone calls tonight. We're talking about how the media has suddenly pivoted. And first, you couldn't get any sort of mainstream coverage really outside of Tucker Carlson and Lou Elizondo basically in the past 3 years. To the Stars Academy with Tom DeLonge and this whole bit and his Disclosure Project. And now 60 Minutes drops their little story on Sunday night, and boom. Yeah, UFOs are in everybody's mouth. UFOs are in everybody's mouth. And they're the talk of the town, right? Well, yeah, I've got a reason to be suspicious. I do. I swear I do. All right, let's go to this. Let's go to, here we go. CNBC.com reports this. This is from Monday, the day after. This is from yesterday. And here you go. This is from, let's see. Headline is this. When it comes to UFOs, the U.S. has a massive intelligence failure on our hands, says former defense official. And this is, again, Chris Mellon and Lou Elizondo. These are the guys that seem to be leading this charge. And, of course, they're former government employees, right? And, like I said, I don't like to crap on people just because they were former government employees or just because they're current government employees. I do understand that like cops or any other function of government or anywhere else, by the way, there are bad construction workers and there are bad drivers and there are bad everything, right? There are a subgroup of people within every group that are just bad people, okay? So I'm not foolish enough to say that government, because they're government, means they're stupid or because they're this or they're that, okay? I just want to point that out. So I can't hold that against them in particular only for that, all right? But here we go. This is what Chris Mellon said. When it comes to UFOs, or what the Pentagon refers to as unidentified aerial phenomena, the United States has a massive intelligence failure on its hands, according to Christopher Mellon. And I've got this video. I can play this. Let's do this. Let's play a little bit of this, and we'll take the phone call. Got a phone call coming in as well. Oh, let's not do that because it's going to play as an ad first. Let's read it. He says, quote, "It's extremely disturbing to think that after spending hundreds of billions of dollars for so many years and believing our airspace to be secure, in fact, we've had vehicles operating restricted military airspace with impunity on a recurring and sustained basis for many years," said Mellon, who served under Presidents Bill Clinton and George W. Bush. Yeah, right. The Pentagon has, of course, declassified the 3 videos, which we've been talking about for literally years on this show, and it's nothing new. But of course, since 60 Minutes picks it up, then yeah, now it's new. Now everybody is like, yeah, UFOs, woohoo, the aliens are here, and I don't know that that's the case. At least according to the things they've shown us, at least according to what's happening from the government and all the rest of this stuff. So anyway, so the U.S. Navy formalized a reporting process in 2019 for pilots to report incidents of UFO sightings. Again, we've got the one guy that described they were seeing UFOs every day for years off the Atlantic coast. He's also a fighter pilot. So I mean, this is what we're talking about. We've got more news to get to, which we'll continue circling back around. But like I said, I prefer talking to you guys. I want to hear what you think about this. And here we are. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can find the phone number and the Discord link at troubledminds.org, the official website, and get your ass on the show. Let's do it. Let's go to Paul in Wisconsin. What's up, my friend? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. I invited a friend, an ex-coworker from Generac, real hot chick, reptile and alien girl or whatever, and I invited her to watch the show, and she put her name in the shout-out, and he didn't shout her out, and she was from Whitewater, Wisconsin, and she put her name out there, and you missed her, and that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, shout her out. Do it. You're on the show, man.
Stephanie. Hopefully she'll continue to watch the show. I mean, she's the first-time watcher of the show. I wanted her to try to participate, and I wanted you to shout her out, and you missed her, and I was kind of bummed about it.
Okay, Paul. I'm going to level with you. Number one, I'm only human. Hey. I'm only human. Number one, I just want to make this clear. Yeah. Number two, I don't see all the Facebook posts that come through because some of them are just auto removed. Yeah. So I it's impossible for me to get everybody. So I apologize. What's up? Stephanie's her name. Shout out to Stephanie. What's your take on this while we got you on the phone, though? What do you think about all this crazy stuff, this UFO in the mainstream media?
I think it's real. I mean, I know aliens are real. I think eventually they'll come out about it. I think it's a distraction, but again, they'll only give us little bits and pieces. They're never going to give us anything concrete. Like even when they came up before and said the Pentagon acknowledged that UFOs are real and they don't know what they are, they never said they were alien craft, and they never will say they're alien craft. They're always going to leave us at a cliffhanger, and they're not going to tell us what they really know, and it's always going to be, well, what are they? Like look at it, like it's sleight of hand shit. It's like, look over here. Why my other hand's doing this? Look at the shiny object kind of thing. You know?
Okay. I'm with you. Do me a favor. If she's still in the chat, have her say hello, and I'll shout her out. Okay. I appreciate the call, and I do my best, man. I do my best. All right. Thanks, Paul from Wisconsin. I appreciate you phoning in. There you go. If you guys want to be on the show tonight, 702-957-1037. What do you think about this? What do you think about all this, the crazy UFOs in the media, and why now? Do you think that it's suspicious? It's weird that the UFO community at large is like, yeah, we made it, right? We made it, fam. We made it. Kind of like I was making fun of last night on the show, making fun of myself and us as, that type of community, right? The woo-woo community, whatever, the consciousness, whatever you want to call us, the UFO community. I don't know. Like, I don't like labels, so I just like to say we think outside the box. We like to use our own brain. It's not that hard, But okay, so let's go. What do you think about this? 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Join the Discord. Let's go to the Copper Mustache on YouTube. What's up? You're on Trouble Mike. Trouble Lines, how are you, my friend?
Hey, Mike, how you doing? Just want to say hi to Stephanie. I think she's awesome. Just make that clear up front.
Okay.
Secondly, the other thing is, I would like to know why we're the only ones reporting these things. It doesn't seem like we're hearing from other countries that they're seeing these same anomalies that we are, at least not in the amount that we are. I mean, occasionally you see one out of Russia or one out of Britain or whatever, but you don't see one out of anywhere else in the world. Why does it seem like it's only a U.S.-based thing? I mean, not even Canada or Mexico is reporting any of these.
That's a hell of a question.
Any ideas?
Yeah, that's a hell of a question. And that's also what makes this more suspicious, right? So you would expect that if our military is saying, not like a direct military admission, but somebody from the military, ex-military at this point, has said, we saw UFOs every day for a couple years in the Atlantic Ocean, that you would expect they're all over the world, right? They would have to be. So again, just kind of framing it in exactly what you just said, if the rest of the world is not really on about this like we are, it seems like it's a propaganda cycle, doesn't it? I think you've got a fantastic point.
It's just too weird. I mean, it's just too weird, and it's also weird that they all seem to be water based. They all seem to go back in the ocean. I mean, I told you years ago that I saw one, and I don't live that far from Lake Michigan, and it went down, not up.
Right.
So I'm assuming it went down into Lake Michigan, right? So that's another question. Why, if they're water based, they should be all over the world. They shouldn't just be in the United States. And then the other thing is too, in San Diego, they're coming out of San Diego. That's 2 seconds from Mexico, and Mexico's not reporting these.
Yeah.
I mean,
like I said,
it doesn't make any sense at all.
Exactly. Makes no sense.
Why only this is happening in the United States.
You're correct. And that's a great point that I meant to bring up yesterday. So that's kind of why I wanted to follow up on this and talk about it, because we have a lot of smart folks that listen to this show, yourself included. And we didn't get a lot of that because YouTube was kind of broken last night. So I appreciate it. And you're right. You were spot on. And again, think of all the great calls we had tonight, kind of pointing out some of the misconceptions about this and why some of this doesn't make sense. And you're just icing on the cake here that clearly if UFOs were seen every day for years, then the world would be freaking out. And the world is not freaking out, just the United States and the propaganda machine. Interesting, eh? I appreciate it, man. We're out of time, top of the hour here, so we got to cut you. But thanks for the call. Thanks for the great point.
Okay, and Stephanie rocks.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. There you go. Shout out to Stephanie. See, we got 3 shout outs to Stephanie now. All right. So as we continue talking about this stuff, you guys know what's up. You guys know the drill. We're still doing this. We're not going anywhere. You're not going to scare us off. Propaganda needs to be discussed. And I don't like being fooled. I don't like being lied to. And here we are discussing this, talking about UFOs in the mass media. So you want to be part of the show? This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Give us a call, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can find the phone number and the Discord link at troubledminds.org. And that, of course, is the official website. And, more UFOs and discussion about the mainstream media and what the hell is really going on after the break. Don't go anywhere. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It is Wednesday night, one of the nights we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what those things are? Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and DLive. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. If you'd like to be part of the show tonight at any point, give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can also join the Discord, be part of the show that way. And you can find the phone number and the Discord link at troubledminds.org. That's the official website. Phone number and Discord are right on top. All right. Tonight is a continuation of the discussion from last night. And the topic tonight is UFOs, of course. Well, where else are you going to hear news about UFOs other than everywhere else now? Because that's what's happening. If you noticed 60 Minutes, if you notice CNN, you notice Fox News, you notice Tucker, you notice Anderson Cooper, you notice who's that other guy, the jerk Cuomo, the Cuomo jerk from CNN, that guy. They're all doing UFOs now, right? And I'm telling you, I think Paul called in a little bit earlier, and he had a good point. Maybe they're worried about their ratings, right? They were bagging on the Orange Man for years now, and the ratings were up. Everybody was in a fever pitch, and now suddenly the ratings are sinking. And maybe they need some clickbait. Maybe they need to deflect from the terrible things happening in the world. Anybody have ridiculous gas prices? Anybody have gas stations where there's no gas whatsoever to speak of? Does anybody have any of that going on in your neck of the woods? How about Gaza? How about Israel? How about the SolarWinds hack that's supposedly been going on for over a year now? Russia in every part of our infrastructure, and including government institutions. I think there's a lot of negative press. And again, like I said, maybe Bill Gates. The press that has been covering Bill Gates for 30 years is finally crumbling. They've been protecting him, and he's now being exposed as a scumbag billionaire. All right, just like all the rest of the billionaires that we've seen here, that have, the Epstein crowd. And so, as a result, I think there's a lot of things that need to be, let's say, kind of swept under the rug. And what better way to do it than to dominate an entire news cycle with the shiny object, UFOs? I don't know. That's a good question. So that's what's on deck tonight. That's the topic of conversation, and we are taking your phone calls at 702-957-1037. Let's go to Sean in Canada. What's up, Sean? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Mike.
Hello. Welcome to the show. What's up, my man? What do you think about all this crazy UFO stuff?
Oh, as you were saying, yeah, it's definitely a distraction. It's like, look at the left hand, don't pay attention to the right hand that's going with the knife into your back,
Yes. Let's call that a metaphor so people don't misunderstand us. But yeah.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, right? People get a little irritated in this day and age when you misspeak like that and don't clarify what's actually happening. But yeah, so you do think it's a distraction. You think that they're using it against us as a shiny object to kind of take control of the news cycle and not tell us, or not answer for the terrible things that are going on. You think that's a possibility here, eh?
Oh, yeah, and not only that, but in a way it almost gives, like, the people that have been, talking about UFOs and stuff like that, a little bit of validation, and making it seem like, oh, hey, maybe they weren't as crazy as, people were making them out to be, It's just like my shirt that I got that I put on the Discord there. It's like, I'm batting 1,000 for my theories, in quotations, coming true.
Which has kind of validated many of the conspiracy theorists, right, over the past, let's say, couple years now, and it's true. Like it's part of what's going on, right? Like they said we'd never have vaccine passports, and look what's going on. Like these are the types of things. So again, that's a little off topic, but just as an example, right?
Yeah.
But okay, so
exactly.
So let me ask you. So you're in Canada. Is the Canadian media going nuts over UFOs, or is it just the American media?
You know what? I think it's more so the American media. Like I've been listening to the news and stuff like that, like on the radio and whatnot. I haven't really been watching like CTV or CBC, but I don't think I've watched them in over a year or two now, so I wouldn't really know, to be perfectly honest. But for like radio broadcasts and stuff like that, there's nothing about any UFO stuff going on.
So interestingly, like Copper Mustache brought up, that the rest of the world is not freaking out, going UFO crazy here, just the United States. Weird, right? Is there a reason to be suspicious of that?
Well, the thing is that if you take a look at everything that's happened, like for example, like with World War II, everyone else was fighting and everything else like this, and the Americans didn't get into it until pretty much Pearl Harbor, right? But then, look at like the Vietnam War, not everyone was willing to go into it until the U.S. stepped into it and said, hey, yeah, we're going to lead the charge on this, right? Or another example is like when it comes to climate change even. The U.S. pushed a lot harder. Or there were some factions within the U.S. that were pushing a lot harder for it, and then everyone else kind of got onto the idea of like, oh, hey, yeah, maybe we should do that, Because if you notice that there's a lot of policies and a lot of action that is taken in the U.S. first, and then everywhere else kind of, they slowly come into what's going on, right?
Yeah, I mean, that makes some sense, but again, now, UFOs, if they've been seen the world over for a very long time, and the media's ignored it, very much like they ignored that. I'm going to keep bringing this up because it's still not getting enough coverage. By the way, that Bill Gates is a scumbag, right? He's another billionaire scumbag. And so I think that's part of it. He's been able to purchase news cycles in the past and kind of run information out of the mainstream that he doesn't like being out there. And for instance, he's in the news again. But again, they're not reporting it. They're talking about UFOs. So interesting, right? Interesting, that entire information operations thing, how they like to control news cycles with particular information. I have a hard time believing that this is an honest effort. I really do. I think it's about ratings. I think it's about, again, covering up some of the embarrassing things that are going on that they can't get a handle on. And, it makes me a little bit upset that we're being lied to again, still, and nothing changes. Yeah, but yeah, there you go. There's Mike's hot take on that, but you already knew that.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is with that, I know personally, like up here, like everything is starting to crumble. All the lies are starting to crumble. Everyone is starting to see through the veil. But yet there are a lot of people that are being willfully ignorant of seeing that the veil is so thin, and they're seeing the ugliness on the other side, that they're still being blind to it, right? And, with I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to try and, mitigate it so that way the algorithms don't trip. But, for example, with the shot, there are hundreds and thousands of people coming forward saying, hey, don't get this because, there are things happening to people, and it's not just the rare blood clots. There's other stuff that's going on as well. People are having muscle spasms. People have been sick for weeks.
Hey, right? Sean, you're killing me. You're killing me. You're always riding the line. You're trying to get us banned off Facebook and YouTube. You're killing me. You're killing me, bro. So let's, as you said it, so let's just use that as another media example of things they want to cover up, right? And so I think it's
exactly.
I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense that there's a lot of negativity that's happening that's kind of out of control at this point. Again, like people in the Northeast can't get gas. Like, are you kidding me? Eric said that he had. He says this in the Facebook chat. A car literally blew up today in Pittsburgh. It was full of plastic bags full of gas, and she smoked a cigarette. Not even joking, right? And so clearly, right? No, hopefully she didn't die, but clearly,
well, yeah, exactly.
Clearly, this is a failure of government. Okay, in many ways. And, so not only we had the pipeline hack, and then they paid off the terrorists, the hackers, they paid them off to get the pipeline back. Mm-hmm. And of course, right, who knows that? Because they're not reporting that, are they? I mean, there's a whole lot of just really, really dirty stuff happening that they're not really kind of pushing forward as a I don't know, as news people, right? And anyway, so hang on a sec. I'm gonna mute you, and we'll go back to you in a sec here. We got Ash here, but I got a phone call. I'm gonna take this real quick. He says he's got to go to work, so hang tight. I'm gonna get right back to you, Sean, and don't go anywhere. Okay. Be right back to you, and let's see. Gonna mute him. Let's go to Derek in Wisconsin. What's up, my friend? You're on Trouble Minds with Mike. I think you are. You're about to be. All right. What's up? You're on Trouble Minds, Derek. How are you?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you this time. Congratulations. You're through.
Oh, okay,
You're through, my friend. What's on your mind tonight?
I'm glad you got my message, yeah. I wanted to say, I think last night I follow Ben Davidson's channel, Suspicious Observers, on YouTube, and I know he was talking about a CME hitting at one point, I think yesterday or the day before, so that may have hit yesterday. Maybe that was the reason for all the interruptions and everything. I'm not sure. But it was kind of strange as soon as your show came on. Nobody could, all of a sudden, nobody could get on YouTube like that. So it was just like, maybe they're onto us. So I knew what you were saying about that. We broke the internet, right?
Yeah, we broke the internet. Of course, that's tongue in cheek. We're not important enough or big enough to really break the internet, but the timing is a little bit funny. Yeah, tongue in cheek. It's okay. We can make fun of ourselves. It's okay.
But I was bringing up in chat. I don't know. Maybe this is a diversionary tactic too, because I brought up the Elon Musk thing. Remember the tunnel drilling machine that he has, that he brought up himself on SNL on Saturday Night Live. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be really messed up if we're in that dimension or on that, on that plane of where Elon is tunneling or something, and then he has a Phil Schneider situation where all of a sudden they find a pocket of Yetis or Sasquatches, and all of a sudden we have a bunch of Sasquatches running around where it's a total left turn, where it's everybody's thinking little green men. Maybe it's going to be the Yetis, the Sasquatches that are going to take over because of Elon drilling too far into the earth.
I saw you typing that in the chat, and I had to punch myself in the face, actually, just because I was like, what is this guy talking about? But I get the joke now.
You never know, man.
I get the joke. Okay,
yeah.
So
I mean, this could be that mentioned. You never know. This could be that level of the parallel reality. Maybe this is that reality with the Sasquatches, where we're all expecting the little guys, and then all of a sudden it's oh man, how are we going to deal with these Yetis everywhere?
A bunch of Chewbacca's everywhere. Yeah, I'm with you, man.
I just wanted to bring that up before I went to work, man.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you for the call.
You have a great night, man. I love your show.
Thanks, man.
I'll call in again. Okay. I love you guys.
Okay, thanks for listening. Love back to you. Have a great night. That's Derek from Wisconsin. He called and left me a message apologizing for his poor telephone line, because he calls a couple times a show usually, and it can't ever get through for some reason. So anyway, all right, let's go back to our buddy Sean from Canada. Let's unmute him, and let's unmute Ash, the reptilian. What's up, Ash? Are you there, buddy? What's up, Ash? What's up, Sean? You guys are on Trouble Minds. Hello. Test 1 2. Test 1 2.
Hey, Ash.
What's up? Hey, you know what? Just go back to muting Ash.
Okay.
That guy sucks.
Okay.
Just mute him.
Mute that guy.
Get rid of him.
Okay.
Delete him.
So we've got all the hot takes from a lot of folks tonight, which, again, thank you guys for being very interactive tonight. Like I said, it makes the conversation go. We hear lots of takes from different folks. And we've heard from Sean here regarding what he thinks about all this UFO information. What about you, Ash? What do you think is going on with the 60-minute stuff, with the basically the entire news cycle has been taken over by UFO news? What do you think is up with this? Do you think it's an honest effort by the media, or do you think we're being bamboozled by something else?
So, we had a conversation. We've been kind of covering the UFO stuff for a while, and typically it kind of like blimps up, right? And it's like, oh, cool. But just like anything in the ether, it usually just fizzles out, right? And that's what we're used to. That's what we kind of know. Conspiracy theories are fun. They're kind of distant, right? They have no correlation to your everyday life. Maybe there's something that happened in the past. But this is something where, we've been covering it, and we've been seeing kind of like the conversations, governors talking about it, Elizondo, Tom DeLonge, all these things, and now we're hitting this culmination that's honestly it's a little too mainstream. It's a little scary. Whenever anything's like mainstream, like 60 Minutes, that's kind of like, okay, it's on the agenda, right? It's on the books. We're right. This is what we are doing. I don't know if you guys remember, but before we invaded Iraq, right, there was a 60-minute special about why Saddam Hussein is a bad poo-poo face, right? And it was all about swaying public opinion. So public opinion, in a conscious effort, is being swayed into convincing that UFOs are real. Now, why is the question? So, I mean, a lot of the people that, if you're listening tonight, I don't think you really need that 60-minute special. I don't know. I don't know about you, Mike. I don't know about you, Sean, but I don't need 60 minutes to tell me that freaking UFOs are real. I got a picture. I just sent you one. That's called the Fluxliner. That's the first alien replication vehicle. Got a picture of it right there. Boom. That's from like the 60s. We got this. They've been doing this stuff in the 60s. So, but why now? Why? So, I have a few theories. Are you curious to hear these? Hear my theories?
Let's hear it.
I am curious.
Let's hear it, buddy.
Let's go.
What do you got?
So, you asked for it. I have a video on my channel. I'm plugging now.
Oh, dear Lord.
My channel.
Oh, dear Lord.
No, but Ash the Reptilian from Mars. Check me out. There's a video. It's called the Alien False Flag Invasion, potentially. This, the military they have tools on their belt. They have like ammo in their gun. You would want them to, right? You would want them to have all these contingency plans. And one is that since they have these vehicles, they could fake an alien invasion. So, would the government do something like that? I don't know, but they are posturing themselves in a way that they're pretending to be ignorant of this, right? We know that there's way more. We know that the government has these things. Like Bob Lazar, these stories come out, these leaks. We know they have more. We know that there are vehicles that they have in possession that are advanced, these triangle craft, these TR-3Bs. I have 3 friends who've seen them, and they're silent and they move. Those are ours, okay? If you, just like Stephen Greer, I think Stephen Greer is right about a lot of things. I think if you can kind of tell what it is, that's ours, right? If you can't tell, that's alien. And so, there are aliens. We've reproduced their technology. I mean, Mulder said it in the 90s, right? In the 80s or whatever. We've kind of already been there. So, but why now? So maybe potential alien false flag. Maybe we need a new boogeyman, right? To keep the funding going. I don't know if you've ever looked at the budget of how much is spent on the American military, but it's tremendous. And I really don't want to get into it too much because you don't.
Sorry,
you don't want to upset, like, there's 3 people in a group, right? One person has a baseball bat. That's the person you don't talk smack on, right? Like, so you don't want to talk smack on the people who have all the guns, right? So you got to be careful with that. But maybe it's just an excuse to keep funding going. But I have another theory is that Bob Lazar mentioned this, that I think that the material science, I think that they've hit a wall. Bob Lazar said that every once in a while they take this technology and they shelve it. They get as far as they can and they shelve it and they just kind of give up for a little bit because it's beyond what we as humans understand currently. Our science is not made in a bubble. It's made collectively. You put it out there, people audit it, they go back and forth, they come up with theories to test them. It takes the collective effort of humanity to push things forward. And they've been doing things in secret. They're probably exhausting themselves. So I really suspect that this is all this BS is because the government's so desperate to get to the next level that they're trying to get us to be like, not ask the alien question, not ask these questions too much. No. Don't worry about that. But we do have a piece of UFO, the material science. They want us to figure that out for them because they can. And they want to go just far enough that we'll do that, but nothing else. And I think that's what it is. I think that, I mean, there might be more after that, but I think ultimately that's what it is. What do you think?
So what you're saying is...
Go ahead, John.
So what you're saying is basically they're looking for the armchair genius, essentially, to all of a sudden be like, okay, well, I'll take, they kind of look at a snapshot of whatever they have that they've shelved, right? So they take a look at that snapshot and they kind of look at it and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I know how that works. So that person comes forward and basically they get, pulled into the fold. Therefore, expanding the science. Is that pretty much what you're saying?
Yeah, like there's different science departments, there's the propulsion, there's all these different things. But you notice in this disclosure sort of narrative, the only other piece of information they give and they kind of skeet back on is the material science. It's the materials themselves, where they'll say that, this stuff was made in space, or it's got like a zillion layers on a nano level, or something like that, right? That's the only thing that they've actually hinted at. They don't, they may say it's not from ours, but they don't really take the next step. They really try not to. The only step that they've taken is material science, basically that the government has a piece of these materials. And the fact that they even say they've run it back from then. They've backtracked on that because they don't want to say that yet, but yeah, they have the material. You notice how they say materials. It's like, dude, you have craft. You were probably literally given to it by aliens. They probably have whole craft that are just fine that the aliens gave to them, or some of the stuff that they shot down by nuking and all these kind of variety of things. They probably have so much, and the fact that they're coming. Long story short, the fact that they're coming into this narrative lying so damn hard is bad. It's terrible. It's like it's an injustice. They're lying.
They're lying. Exactly. That's the point. Hey guys, this is Troubled Minds. I'm Mike. Here with Ash and Sean, we're hanging out talking about UFOs. What the hell's going on in the news cycle, and why has it taken over the entire mainstream media? Normies are talking about UFOs, and it troubles my mind. More conversation after the break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I am here with Sean from Canada and Ash, the reptilian from Mars. We're hanging out. We're talking about UFOs tonight because, well, everybody's talking about UFOs tonight. It seems weird, right? We used to be the guys that were tip of the spear with some of the information as it kind of clunked out. We'd talk about it. We'd think about it. We'd pose the question to you. But now the mainstream media has jumped the shark and UFOs are the topic of the day. And so here we are trying to play catch up to Chris Cuomo and Anderson Cooper, Sean Hannity, and guys like that. And I got to tell you, it irritates me just a little bit, if you know what I'm talking about. We're taking your phone calls tonight. We are broadcasting on The Fringe FM. We are live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and DLive. Give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Let's get back to this. Let's get back to the conversation. Welcome back to the show, fellas. Are you there? Testing 1, 2.
Yeah, still here.
Welcome back, Sean.
Mars connection successful.
Nice. Mars connection successful. All right. So you were saying, Ash, before we took off, that you think it's a technology bottleneck of sorts, and that they're trying to use maybe the public to advance this to a new era. Let's say, but do you think it's a good technology push from the government and the media, or do you think that they're trying to abuse us like they always do? Tax day, by the way, did anybody else get screwed in taxes? I'm going to be mad about it for a little while now, so when I bring it up from time to time, don't worry. Just kind of pat my head and say it's going to be okay, Mike.
It's okay,
Mike.
Okay.
I got a hookup for you. Next year you won't have that problem.
Okay.
I got some reptilians in the IRS, They'll just
Oh, you've infiltrated. Okay, got it.
Yeah, we're everywhere. I'm doing the triangle Illuminati sign right now, upside down or something. I don't know.
Right.
There's so much symbology. I don't even know what's what. I think they're going too overboard. It's like it's not even cool anymore. God. But on the UFO thing, it's crazy, dude. It's completely like I mentioned earlier, we would talk and things would happen, but it would just go into the abyss, right? It's beyond that. It's done. On my YouTube, it's crazy, right? There's all sorts of crazy stuff. I watch all sorts of stuff, but there's all these different podcasts. Russell Brand was talking about it. He's made 3 shows about UFOs. Lex Clips, that's the guy who talks about science, and they're revisiting the Oumuamua asteroid. They're like, wait a minute, maybe this is alien stuff. Crystal and Cigar, the cigar guys, he's all over it. David Wilcock, I mean, does that count? But anyway, he's been getting more aggressive because he sees the writing on the wall as well. Fox, CNN, 60 Minutes, it's done. It's past the point. UFOs are officially real. I watched Jeremy Corbell argue with someone. They were like, oh, well, I don't really believe in UFOs. He's like, whoa, stop. There's no belief anymore. Period. UFOs are real. We have videos. It's done. And you could see the guy. He was like a science YouTuber. It's done. That's the conversation is now, what are they? And naturally where everyone goes is, are they aliens, right? And I don't know, man. And also, people are smart. They're like, why the government, right? What's the government got to do? What are we doing now? And they try to play it off like, oh, it just came out. And they try to distance themselves from this stuff as much as they can. But people are too smart, man. Space Force came out 2 years ago. We know Space Force is a consolidation of, they're trying to basically consolidate all the different branches into kind of one roof, all of the space assets into one area. And we had that one general talking about little men in space, and we've been keeping track of this. But I think at the end of the day, yes, there's some lying going on. But this is a moment. My hair stood up on my reptilian arms when I saw some of these videos, and I was showing them to just regular normal friends, and they were like, "Wow," they couldn't believe it. We're literally today, and this week has been history. So let's maybe we should take off our tinfoil hats. Maybe we're just normal people now. I don't know.
Wait.
No. Do not take off the tinfoil hat. Whatever you do not take off that hat, because that's when they're gonna get you. They're gonna make you think that you're all good and everyone's normal, everyone's happy, and then they'll pull the big old whammy on you. It's gonna be one. It's going to be one of those things where it's like, yeah, hey, cool, yeah, this is awesome, and then next thing you know, you're in a camp faced with 50,000 people going, what the hell just happened?
Where's your tinfoil hat, bro? Yeah, in the camp. Yeah. No, so this has been a big psyop, right? This has been a big psyop to actually get us to drop our tinfoil hats and be mixed with the normies as everybody looks to the sky with our mouth agape and says, UFOs, bro. Look, bro, it's a UFO. Yeah, right. Maybe not. All right, let's go. We got a phone call here. Let's go to the phone call. Talking about UFOs tonight, guys, and how the mainstream media has basically co-opted our topic. Like I said, I'm not going to lie, it irritates me a little bit. It really kind of does. Now we got Tucker Carlson and Anderson Cooper and these clowns just talking about UFOs every night. And I have to admit, I can't believe every word or actually anything that comes out of their mouth. Yeah. So anyway, let's go to this is Derek in Massachusetts. What's up, Night Stalker? You are on Troubled Minds with Mike, Ash, and Sean. How are you, my friend?
What's going on, you guys? What's happening? Great show tonight.
Thank you. Go right ahead, sir.
First, I just want to say that this is definitely a historic week, and Obama confirming UFOs, saying that they're not aliens, but there are UFOs that we don't know what they are. Like, it's a huge deal. It's a big deal. But if I was a UFO person, if I was like a diehard UFO researcher, I would feel like you guys. I would be kind of more irritated by the whole thing. Like, I would think there's but I'm more of like a zeitgeist analyzer and like synchromistic type person. So I'm trying to think of just like the collective as a whole and like what they're trying, what memes and their ideas they're trying to put into our heads right now. And it seems like they're forcing like the technological craft aspect first, and like this like the core belly thing you just mentioned, Dash, about it being like, no, they're real. Like, he's focused on the craft, even though he also has an affiliation with Skinwalker Ranch, so I don't know why he's not making that connection, like, to other weirdness. But like, aliens are physical. Aliens are physical. And as soon as you start to mention there might be something else going on, something more high strangeness, they make you think that like aliens are demons. Like, they make you like, what do you think? What are you, some kind of like Bible believing conservative Christian? Like, that's not what people are saying. It's more advanced than that. It's more of like an ultra terrestrial, cosmic trickster, like something outside of our perspective that we really can't wrap our heads around quite yet. And they're putting a box around the possibilities of what's going to happen. And I think like what could happen, it's like tons of different weird. I think from a more conservative perspective, there's definitely going to be some kind of conflict in space, whether it's like China or Russia or us doing something to somebody's satellite, or a SpaceX satellite getting disabled, or some kind of unknown craft disabling something in space. That's almost a guarantee that's going to happen. But I think like a more weird thing is going to be like a portal opening up in space, or something high strangeness involved opening in space, which is why they changed it from flying object to aerial phenomena, to like broaden the scope of like what could possibly happen. And also, like, you're right, I think it's to bring in a new eon of technology that they can now unleash on us too, for sure. But it's complex. There's a lot going on in the zeitgeist right now.
Yeah, and I think there is a lot going on, and I agree with you 100% there. But again, I just have a hard time taking it from the mouth of lying propagandists. So that's the thing that really gets under my skin about this. So you think that this is an honest effort in some capacity?
No.
No.
It's definitely not. No, it's definitely not honest, for sure. They're trying to tell us that it's this physical alien technology out there. Like, and that's not the honest. That might be true, but that's not like. This is a contrived thing. This is some kind of MK Ultra type mass psyop type deal happening right now. Whether aliens are real or not is a little bit to beside the point, honestly. Do you know the researcher Chris Knowles? Are you familiar with Chris Knowles at all?
I'm not. No.
He's like the synchro mystic out there. He's like he virtually created the term for it, pretty much, and he's like I don't know, but there's a contingency out there that's getting deep into the idea that like MK Ultra, and there's a big connection between like all that type of stuff with contacting entities, entity contact, and technology mixed with entity contact, where the technology came from, what they're contacting as far as like demonic realms, like how that mixes with like Lovecraft and aliens and all that kind of stuff, and that's closer to what the truth is than this dishonest thing that they're putting out right now. Like, they want us to believe aliens are from space and they're physical, and if you go on the Disney app or whatever, that's what you see. It's alien stuff. Aliens. This is all physical. Aliens are real. Corbell said, real. Like, aliens are physical. They're abducting people. Yeah, like, that might be true, but there's also something very weird happening that they don't want us to talk about. And I think it all has some kind of like, it's all some kind of weird ritual. It's all some kind of like weirdness that they're trying to put in our heads. It's completely dishonest. Like, whether aliens are real or not is I believe in aliens, but like also what's happening right now is dishonest for sure. And we have to not confuse like the mainstream media with the news. Like the news is like one aspect of the mainstream media, but the zeitgeist as a whole, is pop culture as a whole, is alien crazy. Like Shaq yesterday talked about aliens. A PGA golfer yesterday talked about his alien experience. The Browns quarterback just talked about his alien experience. Demi Lovato just got her own alien show. Yeah, Miley Cyrus was talking about aliens. Nick Jonas was talking about aliens. Which are all Disney kids, by the way. And I don't know. There's I'm thinking more about the zeitgeist as a whole. That's kind of where my mind goes and what they're going to do. But I think it's like prepping for something big that's coming. Like not like classic disclosure, but something that like is weird. Something weird.
Something nefarious.
Sorry, I'm rambling.
No, you're good. You're good, bro. You're good. So that's what I was going to ask, and you nailed it perfectly. So you're with me that it's hard to believe lying propagandists telling us about UFOs and aliens. And so
definitely.
You listen to people like George Knapp and guys like that, and like that's to me where this type of news comes from. Whether you believe it or not, that's fine. But now with Anderson Cooper talking to who the hell was he talking to, that the fighter pilot Dietrich yesterday.
I don't trust George Knapp. I don't trust Corbell at all. As far as I can punt him, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
He's
with
the gatekeeper for all this.
I agree with you. Yeah. So George Knapp is one thing. I think Corbell is another thing, and that's part of the problem too with getting into this business too. Is you end up possibly rubbing elbows with these guys and trying to be friends. Yeah. And as a result, you kind of give them a pass. And I think it's a bad thing. I think at some point you're kind of doing a disservice to humanity if you're just kind of letting people ramble on about BS. And it's okay, meaning like in a personal aspect. But like if you're Stephen Greer or somebody like that has this huge following, and you're just talking a bunch of BS, I think we got problems. I think we got larger problems here. Fantastic call, my friend. Yeah. I appreciate it. Anything else while we got you on the phone?
No. Great show, you guys. Thank you.
Thanks for the call. Okay. Derek in Massachusetts, great take on that. Appreciate that. That's the Night Stalker in the Fringe FM app and also on the Discord. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead. You're getting audio now. Sorry about that. I know that Ash and Sean have a hard time hearing the phone calls. I have a very intricate audio setup that even perplexes me sometimes. But anyway, so I don't know if you heard what he said there, and I know you got to go. So let's get your final thoughts on this topic, Sean, before you got to bounce here.
So, well, like I said, I think it's kind of pay attention to the left hand, don't pay attention to what the right hand is doing, mixed with let's not focus in on the ugliness and get upset at the government and all its failings and everything else like this. And if there is a little bit more to it, like I said, don't take the tinfoil hat off. Be skeptical of everything that they say. Because if they're going to pull out stuff that we've been talking about for like years, then that we've been ahead of the 8 ball. And even if you want, you could even go back into the Troubled Minds archives and, take a look at all the stuff that, we've talked about, even just Mike and Frank talking about, back in the early days. And you'll see that, we've been ahead of the curve. So, and if there is to be any credit given, directed to the guys that have the tinfoil hats.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother. Sean from Canada, follow him on the Dark Uglies. Dark Uglies, he's got a YouTube channel and also BitChute, right? Is that where we can find you?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Fantastic. Check him out. Check him out and go ahead and plug it. Tell people where to find you, man.
All right. Well, if you want to follow me, and you can check out Dark Uglies on YouTube. That's capital D for Dark _ capital U Uglies. Again on YouTube and on BitChute. I have a couple of videos on there, and actually I've got another video project kind of in the works right now. I have 3 interviews on there. And I'm hoping to have a hell of a lot more. Mike knows that, I've put a lot of work into it and whatnot and did the legwork and everything. So,
okay,
I'm very dedicated to it.
Just let me know when it's ready to go. We'll plug it, let people know. I appreciate it, Sean. We're gonna keep on trucking here. Thanks for the call tonight.
Yeah, not a problem, and thanks for having me on, Mike.
My pleasure. My pleasure. All right, Ash, to you, my friend. I know you caught some of Derek's call there. Fantastic stuff, right? You got a hot take?
Yeah, it was a really good call. It was good job, man. You were very concise and you got to the points. And yeah, I mean, honestly, it's bittersweet, right? It's kind of like, this is the moment, right? We're all on the same page. Like, UFOs are real. Like, we've moved the goalposts. We know this is it. So like, anytime anyone says this, no, UFOs are real. Okay. So, and the government has positioned itself, or this disclosure has positioned itself in a way where it's saying, yes, these are of not our arsenal. Now, will it peter out? Will it end up just being the Chinese? Will it end up being this? I don't know. I'm trying to. I don't know exactly. I can't claim here at Troubled Minds, right? We're the questions guys, right? We're just asking questions. But like Sean said, we've been asking questions for a while, right? And so we've been kind of on this pulse, and got this like giant board of conspiracy theory potentiality with, the memes where they have like the red rope going from this guy to that guy to this thing, and it's kind of like that, right? And I don't think the government, these whatever they are, who runs the show, who does this, who does that, particularly has like 100% set plan. They're just kind of rolling with it. They just have contingency plans. You have this, but I don't know, man. Like, yeah, it is negative that it's clearly an agenda. I mean, it's so mainstream. It's so insane. It's literally like every time I refresh my browser on YouTube, it's like a new UFO video. I see CBS Sunday morning. It couldn't literally be any more mainstream, right? Like, I don't even know what else they could do. So where do we go from there? I don't know, but it's cool. It honestly, like, yes, okay, it's a little scary. We're not sure what's going to happen, but it's a moment in history, so I'm kind of taking it in. This is historic. This is one of the biggest moments in human history ever, and like, we're living in it right now. And so, of all the times you could have lived, you might live through the era of aliens are real and we live with them, or they exist. And it seems as if the narrative that's emerging, that the direction we're going to go is, they've always been here. Maybe they're interdimensional. Maybe they live in the seas. That's a common one. But I mean, obviously the government knows more than they say. But for us, I don't know. Maybe I'm in an abusive relationship with the government where I just take what I can get, man. You know what I'm saying? What's that called when you're like, Stockholm syndrome? Maybe we just have Stockholm syndrome. But at this point, I'll take any crumbs off the table.
Well, I'm not. This is. I don't know. I was about to say something mean and stupid, so I'm not going to say it. It was not against you. It was against the government, and I don't need a suit knocking on my door tomorrow morning. So I'm going to shut my mouth. But okay. I agree with you. Like, again, right? Like, you still got to, as we say, once you peel back all the propaganda, like I was saying last night, like Rohan was kind of pointing out. Thank you again for listening to the words I say, guys. It's sometimes it's very humbling. I appreciate it a lot. But once you peel back the propaganda, there are larger questions here, and the larger questions are, it could be terrifying in scope, right? It could be like an actual. Like, we may be on the cusp of that alien invasion that Anjali has been talking about, right? The Council of Seven, 4 of them hate us and 3 of them are trying to defend us. And you know what I mean? So think of it in terms of, like, if this stuff is real and these fleets of whatever the hell is in the sky are actually entities of a sort, we're in a new world. We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. And so I think that's part of this as the discussion. But then again, like you said, Ash, the government knows a lot more than they're putting on, and so we're here just trying to figure it out, just trying to hope that the handlers, the gatekeepers, whoever these people are that supposedly know more or know better. Let's pray that they don't screw it up. Start the interstellar war or whatever the hell's about to happen here. I don't know, man. I don't know what to think anymore. Like, you believe some things, you don't, and then some jerk says this and some jerk says that, and you try and follow this guy and that guy, and the Wilcox saying this and the Greer's saying that, Knapp saying this and Corbell saying that, and all these guys are saying all these things, and none of them really seem to really add up or line up to anything. Michael Sala is saying all this. I got tweets from these guys. We'll go over it in the third hour, guys. Some of the things these folks are saying, but I don't know. Like, none of it really lines up with anything. It's all over the place. Some are like, the aliens are here and the interstellar war is about to happen. Then other people are like, well, no, not really. We just, have government confirmation of this. I don't know. I don't know what to think, man. I don't know what to think. We got a couple minutes left, so let's wind up this final hour. You able to stay a little bit past that, or are you done, Ash?
Yeah. I was able to put down the human resistance that kept me busy, so don't worry about it. I took care of it.
All right, all right. I won't ask any questions. Okay, so let's wrap it up. We got a couple minutes, and then we got the third hour of Troubled Minds coming up. Go right ahead, sir.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up.
Hey guys, I know it came a little late, but thanks for tuning in. It's an exciting time we live in, right? UFOs, it's everywhere. So, if you're listening to Troubled Minds, if you're new, thanks for stopping by. If you're an old-time member, we've been here. This has been a journey, right? We've done this together. We've looked at all this stuff. We did this together. We're like figuring stuff out. And we'll continue to do that. That's our job. We're doing a really good service to humanity, to the people. So let's keep it up. Let's work together and see where we're going, right? And so we got to this moment. Weren't sure if we're going to get here, but we did. And now it's a whole new world, baby. So thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. And keep listening to Troubled Minds. UFOs are real.
UFOs are real. We're being told. We're being demanded. We're going to be gaslighted now if we say, I don't know if UFOs are real. Somebody's going to be like, UFOs are real. Scream in your face. Rip your mask off your face. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird times, right? May you live in interesting times. If you like the show, we're going to do a third hour on YouTube, D Live, and Facebook. If you're listening on Fringe FM, stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void, and lots of good stuff. I believe Brian Gable is out after that, and good stuff. Good conversations all around. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. You're all the best, and you know the drill. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. Decided to turn a light on in here. So, all right, this is the deal. We got one more hour of Troubled Minds coming up, and we're still talking about this. We're still talking about the alien, whatever this is. The aliens have invaded the press, that's for sure. So we're still talking about it. We're still thinking about it. We're still wondering what the hell is going on here. One more hour of Troubled Minds coming up. We're here with Ash, the reptilian from Mars. Thanks for showing up and hanging out with us, Ash. And we're going to take a 2-minute break. So this is the deal. At this point in the show, we're off the radio. Gloves are off. We can let the hair down. We can drop our pants. Actually, I'm going to do that right now. Make sure I get nice and comfortable. And then we can just have a good time and talk about all this interesting stuff. So take a break, 2-minute break. Go top off your drink, grab a cold one, tuck the kids in bed, grab some popcorn, hit the restroom, do what you got to do. We got one more hour of Troubled Minds coming up. No commercials, completely off the radio, and we're doing our thing. So don't go anywhere. One more hour of Troubled Minds. We'll be right back. Enjoy this sweet, sweet music. BRB IRL. See you in a sec. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. This is the deal. Is this disclosure? Is this the moment we've been waiting for? The government is, let's not say the government. I think that's probably getting ahead of ourselves. But the press definitely have kind of stepped up and said, hey, by the way, we got UFOs, guys. Speaking of the press and UFOs, let's look at part of this CNN interview with this is from CNN Politics, and this is the female fighter pilot, Alex Dietrich, a veteran combat pilot, reporting about her actual experience off the coast of San Diego. So let's play just a little bit of this. It's a little bit long, 5 minutes, but we'll play maybe a minute or two and see what she has to say. I think it's interesting that we have. Wait, am I good? Yeah, everything's good. Everything's fine. All right, silence kill. Silence kill. When you say that, you think I think we're muted, but we're not muted. All right, so there we go. So we're going to do this and play this. This is from CNN.
So, Alex, just first of all, walk us through what it is you saw.
I want to be careful because it's been 16 years since that event.
This was 2004.
November 14th, 2004. And I just want to be careful because we know, right, that the science of the mind and the science of the memory we shouldn't rely too much on my technical account at this point. But I will point out that the other aircrew and I made thorough debriefs on that day within minutes of landing, and that I made a written account with as many arrows and details and including comms and bearings and altitudes and all of that I could within, I would say, hours of landing. And then within a few years, gave thorough, almost interrogation-style details to members of the Office of Naval Intelligence and ATIP. But I'll tell you overall, what happened was that we were on a routine training mission off the coast of Southern California, off the USS Nimitz, which is an aircraft carrier. I was with VFA 41, which is a strike fighter squadron, as a new pilot. We were heading off to do air intercepts. We were heading off to do like a scrimmage, a practice air-to-air run, and we were redirected. We were given vectors to go and intercept, see if we could intercept and identify a real-world contact. So we are scanning where we would expect to see something that we're merging with, and we don't see it. But instead we do see something in the water below us. And so my heart sank. I went from being excited that we might go get those bad guys to, oh no, those bad guys have crashed and are sinking, and now we're on scene commanders for search and rescue effort. And then almost as soon as that happened, enter stage left, the tic-tac.
Them aliens. Ash shows up to ruin the party, spoil the fun, and this unfortunate Lieutenant Commander Dietrich is now face to face with Tic Tacs, aliens, whatever the hell you want to call them. Here's the link if you guys want to check this out and watch the full interview. But this is what's going on, right? Like, these people are like doing the entire press rounds and ending up like discussing this with everybody. It's like they released a book, right? Like they're on CNN, they're on Fox, they're on 60 Minutes, they're on this, they're on that, they're on the other thing. And this is an old thing. This is like from 2004. Like, what the hell is going on? What is up with this? What's going on, Ash?
You get drunk, you're off over the ocean. I'm flying my reptilian Tic Tac. I'm just having a good time watching Friends in my ship. And, this is a life-changing event for humans. I'm just drunk, I forgot what I was doing. So I parked for a little bit too long. God, and you guys make such a big stink about everything. No, but it's crazy. How many interviews have these people had? Alonzo, dozens and dozens of the mainstream media. We're at a point where good UFO footage equals money, right? So I like to money is kind of like, if you boil things down, it's a minimum requirement. as an alien referred to it, money is human energy. We decide where the energy flows, right? Like what we invest in. And right now, the UFOs are hot. That's a sexy topic. So like, it's just UFOs are sexy now, right? So like, so if you got good legit UFO footage, now is the time. We're in that era, and I think that we're gonna move. The next era we're gonna move into is one, UFOs are ours or Chinese or something like that, and then kind of like take a little wind out of the sails, or UFOs are aliens, and then in that era, we're gonna. I don't know. Do you think we're gonna revisit all of UFOlogy, like where the Brazilian kids, you know, the kids in Brazil that got visited by an alien, it came down and came out of the ship, abductions. Do you think it's gonna crack that wide open, or you think they're not gonna go that far and pull back? But I mean, we have to go from somewhere from here, right?
I think so, and I think that. So just because of the dishonest media, I think that they're going to use it for clickbait value. I think that they're going to use it as distraction pieces when they need it. And I think that they're going to pull back from this. And there's already some reporting coming out that kind of suggests some other things, right? So I don't know if many of you have seen this. This is not being talked about, of course, because it's not aliens, so nobody's talking about this. This is from thedrive.com. And this is new technology, right? It's weird how everything changes. Everything also kind of stays the same. The headline reads this: what we know about the high-tech balloons lingering off the coasts of the U.S. recently. All right, balloons. Listen to this. The military has been testing high-altitude balloons that are steerable and can remain aloft for long periods while carrying cutting-edge payloads. Right? And so this literally is today. What's the date? I don't know what the hell day it is. 17th. This is from a couple of days ago, actually. So, and they're talking about these high altitude balloons that are out there with high tech electronics attached to these things. And so funny enough, right? Like back to Roswell and the weather balloon and all this stuff. Now I kind of wonder if this is the type of thing that they're going to backtrack on. Like you said, Ash, maybe it's going to be China, maybe it's going to be Russia, maybe it's going to be... They're going to try. I think they're going to try and tell us it's something like this. It's something like a new technology that we've been testing, kind of like a, not quite a satellite, but maybe a balloon that sits way high up there and is collecting maybe radar data, or right, something like this. I'm kind of wondering. And so there's not just that. There's another one that came out. This is from thedrive.com also. Multiple destroyers were swarmed by mysterious drones off California over numerous nights. And they're talking about drones now, right? So this reporting comes from somewhere. So it's not one of those things where you end up, I don't know, it's not aliens, right? I mean, we're talking about drone swarms over like aircraft carriers, and now we're talking about balloons. And both of these are fairly recent. This one's from March 23rd, 2021. The other one's from just a couple of days ago. I think that's what's going to happen, dude. I think they're going to backtrack the hell out of this, and they're going to maybe tease you just enough to wash out a unflattering news cycle. But I think it's going to go right back in the back pocket, and they're going to keep making fun of it behind the scenes, and they're not going to talk about this. I think nothing substantial is coming from this. That's how much faith I have in our media.
Right, and you know what? Honestly, Mike, I can't. You know, I'm optimistic and hopeful, but like, you know, at the end of the day, like, if you were hedging our bets, I'd probably do the same. And here's the thing: you could explain 99.9% of those out, but it only takes one of those to like really change the dynamic of reality. But that being said, it only takes a few of those, and the public loses interest. You only have to disprove one of those videos. Like, here it is. Literally, it's a balloon, and it's done. Like, so I agree with you. It's people are really ready. They're really ready for the alien talk, but they're also really ready to dismiss things because Whoever dismisses it the first is the most reasonable, is the most sound, is the coolest person, is the most grounded person. There's something about human nature where it's like, oh, I knew that was stupid the whole time, right? And so people are still ready to kind of go back in that direction, so the government can pull it back. But why would the government pull forward and pull it back? Well, we talk about the government like it's like one dude or 5 dudes in a room, but there's different branches, different administrations, or maybe it is the truth. Maybe real aliens are bullshit this whole time, right? I don't think so, but who knows? And yeah, I mean, it is a possibility, Mike. Like, I do definitely see that kind of happening, but at the same time, I said, I bet against you a while ago that we would get further, but I didn't think we would get this far, and I know you didn't think we'd get this far for a while there. So I don't know. Maybe we're in some weird-ass charted territory. Maybe the Galactic Federation has decided, they want to come out, and now's the time, and it's the government's job to get them ready. Maybe it's not all nefarious, or I don't know. Maybe the reptilians are going to invade tomorrow. I don't fucking know.
Hey, send it. I'm ready. I sitting on a bunch of ammo. I need some target practice. The ranges have been shut down for so long. Send your reptilians this way. I'm just kidding. All right, so let's go.
The first wave's coming to your house, Mike.
Thanks. Send him. I've got a.
They have 4 hearts.
Perfect.
Shoot.
Tell me where to shoot. All right, we got a phone call. Let's go to this phone call, and let's do it. What's up? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Ash. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Copper Mustache.
What's up, buddy? How are you? Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Hey, Ash, what's up?
He can't hear you. He'll answer you. He'll answer you afterward. But go ahead. Sorry, audio issues.
Hey, let's focus on where this all began in modern day history, right? And the way I figure it is, being a bit of a historian, is it all started in Nazi Germany, right? Because that's where you find Mr. von Braun, who comes over to the U.S. and starts this whole big space program. But how did all this amazing technology just get to them and out of the blue? Nobody's really asked that question. I mean, all of a sudden, they have this amazing power to do this other stuff, and then it also comes to the United States. Majority of it comes to the United States. Some of it branches out to Russia and other places, but a majority of it comes to the United States. And now it's kind of evolved, right, over a very short period of time when you think about it. And now, all of a sudden, we've got flying creatures all over the place in the United States. Okay, maybe I'm being a little bit over dramatic, but it does seem a little weird.
It seems a little weird. Now we get the release the flying monkeys, right? Like it's weird, man. Yeah. This is weird. Now again, you understand what I'm saying? Is that I'm expected to believe this shit now just because Anderson Cooper says it's cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
And of course not. I don't believe a damn thing that fool says anyway. But that's not what most of the people out there believe. They believe if AC 360 says it, that it's true. And well,
yeah.
I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about this? What's the end game? Is this really Project Bluebeam? Is this really setting us up for the like Night Stalker said when he called in a little earlier about the some sort of attack that's about to go down in space, and they're going to have it in their back pocket to tell us it's aliens, something like this, like a Chinese satellite or some shit like this. I think it's plausible as anything, and once it's in the zeitgeist, I think people have a more reason to believe, right? If they kind of tell us some BS. But I don't know. Do you think that's all possible, that they could pull that off and get it by us?
I don't know, but I think it's important to look at the original source and backtrack it to where it all came from. You don't see much of that prior to that date. There's obscure stuff, but not as much stuff, you know what I'm saying? And obviously technology and stuff isn't wasn't as great back then, but it is kind of weird how from that period of time, it kind of like exploded throughout the next couple decades of both technology and this weirdness that we're seeing now.
Okay, but so what's the difference though? What's the difference? So if difference between like Roswell and 47, and what's the difference between like seeing UFOs every day for 2 years over the Atlantic? What's the difference now?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Why has it changed?
Roswell's a great example because Roswell may never have had not been from the original source. So I'm looking at it as like a seed that's growing out of the ground, right? Did that seed get planted in Nazi Germany in the 40s or the early 30s, actually, 20s, and explode from that point on? Because that's where we saw all this technology that we see to this day explode from. I mean, it literally went from nothing to boom in a very short period of time.
Right, exactly. So what? So is it aliens? I'm asking you. What's the end game? What is this? What does it mean? So if you trace it back to where it came from,
that's the question.
What is it?
That's my question. What was it? What was it? I got to believe it's not something that we thought of, because we're not that smart. But I don't know who, what, or where. That's the other part. But I'm thinking it's something that is not of us. That's my guess. I mean, it's just a total guess. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, like I said, I wish I knew the answers here. I just don't know the answers. The question show, not the answer show. I appreciate the call, my man. Aliens or no aliens? If you got to pin it down, what is it? Which one is it?
My guess is I don't think it's us.
Don't think it's us. So it's something else. It doesn't necessarily have to be little green men. It could be something else. I'll accept that.
It could, yeah, it's something. It's something that that has maybe existed here forever and then kind of came back and enhanced itself to a new level. But I mean, it will all come in the circle. I mean, it all comes in a circle with what you look at. I mean, from the beginning of time, basically, and extremely from all the things we've seen in our past with the pyramids and everything else. Nothing makes sense in this world is what it comes down to. Nothing makes freaking sense.
I'm with you there.
Yeah, I mean, so what I'm saying, a lot of people are thinking out there is, hey, that guy's crazy. But
that's crazy.
It's a thought, it's a thought, and that's the thing that keeps things going is a thought. And that was my comment for the night.
All right. I appreciate it, my man. I appreciate that a lot. Copper Mustache on YouTube. Always a good insight from you. I appreciate the call.
Hey, have a great night, guys.
Thanks a lot. You too. I don't know. I know. So we're having technical issues, and Ash cannot hear the people on the phone line. So he's listening on the stream to catch up. But there you go. Welcome back, buddy. I know you caught some of that. What's happening? What's your thoughts on that?
Good points. It's, you go back to, there's this guy who came down. Okay. So, all right. Articulate yourself. Slow down, Mike. Slow down, Mike.
Slow down.
Right.
Slow down, Mike. Slow down, Mike.
Slow down, Mike. That's a classic. That's a Troubled Minds classic.
You got to talk to yourself. Slow down, Mike.
He said, you mentioned go back to the start, right? Because that's where the plans, the things are formulated, things happen. And if we're looking at Warner von Braun, and that's in my video, check out my YouTube video, the alien invasion, Ash Reptilian from Mars, my YouTube channel, that Warner von Braun said it was kind of all BS, and that we were basically soliciting funding to fund these projects. But there has to be a moment of conception where all this technology comes from, and that's what he was bringing up. For the government to just feign ignorance that they have not had any connections with these extraterrestrial beings is kind of crazy. I almost suspect that aliens are just cool and they're chilling, and they're like, okay, you have to do this and this, and otherwise we won't work with you. You know, they're kind of dictating everything's cool, and the government has used that buffer room where we don't know, but they don't know. They do, to kind of make sure that we don't know, like pushing out propaganda and BS. And as long as the government doesn't really break the rules with the aliens, it's cool, and they get to kind of manipulate us to control us, right? And so if the government just came straight out and told us the truth, then we know everything, so then they can't lie to us to use that as leverage for different moments, right? So let's say China and all these other countries are challenging the petrodollar or something like that. You can't use like a fake alien invasion or fake aliens to like blow up a building and destabilize a country. You see what I'm saying? They lose the ammo that's in their gun. So there's really no incentive to do that. So if it is being done, there is an incentive there for whatever reason. And, you know, we can sit here all day and speculate, but we don't know. And, what is honestly, at the end of the day, we want to know if aliens are real, but I think we kind of know that answer. I think that they are extra-dimensional entities or whatever via the John Podesta email. But the real question is, to what extent does our government work with them? What is the relationship? I want to know every meeting, every document between our government and them. You know, if it's nothing, I want to know it's nothing. Prove to me that it's nothing. And I think that is the question that we should not lose sight of. I think that as the narrative goes, as soon as we get past that point, aliens are real. What is your relationship with them, government? Period. If we hold on to that, we can hold them accountable. Because I suspect that the government has done quite a few things that we would not approve, we would not be cool of, and they are trying to sidestep that entire conversation. But if we're too aggressive about it in the beginning, they'll just pull back and not even do it, right? So we have to wait for the time's right. We have to pretend like, oh, really? Is that what it is? Oh, UFOs. You don't know what that is? We don't know what it is either. Oh, crazy. Yeah, okay. We'll just pretend. But when the time is right, I think the UFO community, you guys listening, maybe I'm wrong, but I think we should really be like, hey, 5,000 people were abducted and they saw like military personnel with abductions. What is that? And they'll just be like, oh, I don't know. Push. I think we should really push. I think the evil here that is trying to be covered up, the things that they don't want us to do, I think that's where it is. I think that's where it lies. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know.
I'm going to just vote that you're crazy. We'll call it that. How about that?
That's kidding. Fair.
I'm just kidding.
No, I'm used to that.
All right, fair enough. So Night Stalker says that, what do you say here? Roswell might not be the start. It was the result. That's the new thread, Mike. Dive in. There you go. Maybe, are we talking about time travel here? What the hell are we talking about? Again, like I said, I'm just a questions guy. I'm confused half the time. This is my superpower, guys. I can just talk and not really say anything, right? You get it? I don't know. I don't know the answers. You just talk. You just say some words. But I'm just kidding. All right, let's go. We got Kelly on the phone here. Any points you want to make before we get Kelly on, real quick? Anything else?
No, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, let's do it. Pressing the talk button. Talking to Kelly in Colorado. What's up, my friend? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Ash. How are you?
What's going on, fellas? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. What is going on with all this mainstream media coverage of UFOs?
I don't know. It's kind of perplexing myself as well because I take it in several directions, you know. So number one for survival is never trust the government, and also the mainstream media. But with that said, I look at it as, you know, looking at getting some of these, like the regular people that you know, the regulars that you call out there, you know, that's not in our, you know, doesn't want to dabble in this field of, you know, the strange reality of, you know, actually reality itself, that, you know, we ain't alone in this universe, and, you know, you know, there's been creatures here, probably still here, never even left, you know, changed our DNA and all that other shit. But when mainstream media goes ahead and like you guys are saying, that shit's everywhere too. I've been noticing it as well. You know, you have ABC, NBC, CNN, they're all talking about it, you know, doing short clips, short movies, talking about the government. You know, they're supposedly finding, what everybody knows that's in our field is that the government's already been doing this shit. It's not like, you know, something new that they don't know. Of course they know. But what's their issue? I mean, what's their, you know, the end game for it? You know, is it the you know, Operation Blue Beam? Is it, you know, something they want to, you know, that they want to do, or is it you know, because, you know, we have, like, it's not like these pilots, you know, like our so-called pilots now that, you know, that you know, they came out and said it, because we've had pilots in World War II talk about it. You know, they were called the Foo Fighters.
Exactly. So, it's been going on for a long ass time.
The shapes that they see. Go ahead.
It's just been going on for a long ass time. You're right. Sorry, go ahead. Continue, sir.
No, I'm just saying, you know, if you look at it in that perspective, right? So I look at it as, okay, let's get the normies on board. You know, that's a good thing, that what I look about it as that. But, you know, when they're using all this media, you know, it's either a diversion against, like, you know, you guys are saying, with all the stuff that's going on now, with all the, you know, not only political, but with, like, Bill Gates and all the shit that dude's end up doing, you know, because you know, he owns a lot of money, you know, he's got a lot of money invested in a lot of these, you know, media platforms.
Exactly.
You know, not just, you know, people don't know, like, the total research. You got to look into what these people are into, you know. Same thing that you were talking about earlier. But again, there's another thing that you could probably look at it this way too, is, okay, we got to get everybody on board in some form or fashion. And the reason is because maybe something or someone is forcing their hand to come out and say, hey, you know, get everybody on board that, yes, UFOs are real and something's, you know, operating these things. They're not from here, right? So, you know, that could be one thing too, just like what Tim was saying. Like, I've always said this too, like, there's too many so-called satellite launches, you know. There's a lot of rock countries, especially United States, that are launching all these, and they keep saying that they're got satellites. I don't think they're satellites. You know, you go back into this part where it's like, you know, the secret space program, you know. I say that, you know, we do have that out there. And, you know, that's just all supply ships out there, you know, especially if you look at the big picture. If we're out here on this planet, right, and let's just say humans are just the only ones here, and we start getting into planetary, you know, exploration like we're doing, we do need to keep an eye on other species that are out there that are not so nice. You do have to have something like, you know, what Trump created, which was the Space Force. You got to have some kind of presence and some kind of power if you're going to be out there. You can't just be out there, you know, thinking that, you know, everybody's all nicey-nicey and you're going to just float around and meet, you know, like, you know, a nicer version of Star Wars or Star Trek, you know?
Yeah, well, I think that's the conversation now. So what's out there? Like you said, the government knows. They have a way better idea than what they're letting on. Like I said, imagine the pilot, what's his name? Graves is his last name. Graves has said UFOs every day for a couple years. Every day. Every single damn day. So look at all the radar data. Look at all the actual, like, eyewitness testimony from pilots. Look at all the people on the ships that saw these things. Look at all of this stuff. Of course, they've got a unbelievable amount of data on this. They have a much better idea of what these things are, and they're not saying. And so to me, right, it's that is telling in and of itself. If literally our reality isn't what they tell us it is, and we're expected to, believe the same crap we've always been told growing up and learned in school and all this other garbage that's not even remotely true, we live in this alternate universe, this alternate dimension or reality where these things are in the sky. Like you said, they've been around for thousands of years. I saw you say that in the chat. And if that's true, like, our entire reality is a whole lie, right? It's a lie, the entire thing.
Well, I would say it's the whole thing. It's just a different shade of color that people don't want to see or can't see. That's why they call it the Matrix. But another thing too, if you want to look at it in another perspective, here's another one I would say. That let's see, what was I going to go off this one? The shapes of these things, so like they're saying the Tic Tac, and and the thing that I said too in chat was that these things have been filmed, the same shapes of these things have been filmed, right, throughout, and even throughout history, they've been filmed, they've been pictured, they've been cave drawings of everything. You have India talking about the Vimanas, so. The thing about it is, though, like with these weird little things that they've been chasing, that the Navy's been chasing, right? Let's say this could be also a thing too, and this is because the government does this as well. So, like, if these things been filmed by other people, seen by other people, right? Just kind of like the P2 spy plane, and then he went with the 71 Blackbird, right? People didn't know what these things were, or like, the shapes of them anyway. They thought, wow, I just seen a big black, almost like they call it a triangle or something like that. It could be just like the new, these new, they're done with the TR-3B because, that's a branch off of what they were calling the Aurora Project, right? So if they want to go in a different direction, that's anti-gravity, like, again, the shape's going to be, you could have it actually any shape, but you want it more supposedly aerodynamic, I suppose. Keep it that shape rounded, kind of like the rounded in the front, and move through atmosphere, I guess, through the air, I would suppose. But if you're just going through, that's like the technology kind of, you're opening up something. I was telling you, we were talking about this, in a couple other shows where it's like they're opening up a portal in front of them, which is they're being sucked towards something instead of a thrust from the rear. But again, who knows? It could be something like saying, the militaries are slowly coming out. That's what the meaning I was getting about was that we're slowly letting our tech out. Just say, hey, this is the new tech. Because other stuff that we sent out was like almost 40 years of that we've been working on in advance, and then 40 years later, the military lets it out. Maybe it's one of something like that, saying, yeah, we've seen them, but we couldn't say it was ours. It also keeps your enemies on the second, on their guessing game too. Is it theirs? So they're saying that it isn't, but maybe it is. Just trying to throw us off. It's a whole gambit of different things that could go on with that. But for me, I know UFOs are real. We all know UFOs are real. We know that these species, but yes. Like I said, until they can, come back, the president jumps on TV, has pictures of these things, what they look like, their years of life, what planet they're from, all this other shit. Until they do that, I don't believe anything. I still don't believe it.
I didn't see some alien genitals, or it's not real.
Yeah, so to me, let's talk about the oceans too. If you go about the oceans, and I've said this before, because I've been in the Navy and I've been on many oceans, right? Not just one. I've been on many different oceans and seas. And I tell you what, if you want, I know that there's some that are underwater, because especially if you look at it, you could lift the whole city up out of an ocean and no one would even know it, to take it to the outer space. Excuse me. But yeah, no one would even see it. That's how vast. You don't even see land for. I mean, you won't even see land for weeks, and
Yeah.
you could just see. You could like like I said, if you take a whole city right up out of the bottom of the ocean into the outer space, no one would even see it. So I don't even know why people would be so, be like, oh my God, they would be underwater. That's where I would think they would probably even be. So even like the ancient stories of people that were under the, like, it was Enki, right? He was Lord of the Waters. And even like his, the ancient, if you look at the ancient scriptures of him or like drawings of him, he looks literally like he's wearing it. They call it a fish suit, but it looks like, in the carvings and shit, it looks like he's literally wearing a giant fish off the back of his head. And, the top of the hat, that's where they say the Catholics got that too, because the top of the hat looks like the mouth that's open of a fish, the little hats they wear. Yeah. So, and what's even crazier is like even ancient Sumerian, or actually Assyrian, which is actually the same, the same area, but, in ancient Iraq area. But, they shows them there. I could post that in Discord where they even call them the ancient Syrian, they were like, they were underwater, like they were, like they had flippers on and shit, and they had like a little tank they were holding. And there's drawings of it, not drawings, but etchings of it in stone of these people like that. So, yeah, they're always, you hear like Poseidon, the god of Poseidon, different cultures. So yeah, there's a, I'm pretty sure they're under the oceans. That's not surprising either.
I agree. I like if they. This is the thing about that too. Like you said, you could literally go, if it's a transmedium type of craft, you could go out to the middle of the Atlantic or the Pacific Ocean and just go straight to the bottom to your base, and you would never be seen. You could never be like. That's part of the problem too, right? Is if you were an alien with that type of technology, you could literally just hide all the time. But here we are, seeing these things in the damn sky all over the damn place. It's almost like they want us to see them, right? So that would be the other part of this.
Right. And if there was an extraterrestrial civilization that lived here, we Earth that we know of has had 6 civilization-ending catastrophes. Meaning, if you're going to set up camp, the surface is the worst place to be, because that's where all this stuff can happen. If you're under the oceans, if you're underground, you can insulate yourself from those. It's much safer. In addition, yes, you can hide from humans and other civilizations that have grown over time, but you can also hide from other extraterrestrial groups. We don't know what's out there in this. This is a big galaxy, and there's lots of planets, trillions of galaxies on top of just our galaxy, which has billions of planets. So we don't know what's out there, and maybe the standard is to hide under the surface, so you're not easily discovered, right, and removed. It just makes a lot of sense. And it would probably be the standard for all these different civilizations. Hell, we could have lots of different civilizations living on this planet, different factions, groups. And I suspect that is the case based on all these stories and things we've heard. It was just some good points that Kelly made. The TR3 program, supposedly, David Wilcox says, was a balloon program originally, and it kind of got out of hand. And that potentially, maybe when they did this warp drive stuff, or they reverse engineered these engines, they strapped it to these balloons, and that's kind of like the best stuff we have. And that goes back to the material science. Maybe we're looking to engineer a lightweight craft, kind of like what they had. So a little note about that. I don't know if that's true, but that was like a recent sort of revelation. But another theory of why this is happening now is we're in an era of great change, right? A lot of these governments are going for what they call the Great Reset, right? And using COVID as a catalyst. Well, previously we've been on what is known as the petrodollar, which is basically America pretty much running the currency of the world. We run the dominant currency, and thus we can print money. And maybe we're all in agreement that there's a new era coming, and we've kind of covered this in the past, and all these different factions are looking to kind of fight to be on top when the chips finally lie, and that You know, America, like, in order to maintain our system, we have to run in a trade deficit. We have to print money and give half of it away. You know, we saw that when we print money, we shipped a lot of it overseas. And all this is going on. The Fed's looking to create a new cryptocurrency. They're cracking down on Bitcoin. Maybe we're moving away from the petrodollar. And the petrodollar was the thing that held us back from releasing this UFO technology, because it would basically make oil and petro obsolete, thus destroying America's like stronghold on the world. And maybe this new era we're moving into, this system that they have planned, it's not really necessary for that anymore, and that was the real reason for censorship. I mean, it's possible.
It's all possible. Go ahead, Kelly. Go ahead and wrap it up. We got. We're okay. We're okay time wise. But go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead and respond to that.
Let me just give you my opinion on that. What could be happening? For me, if about that, you know, again, so we all know, government knows, everybody knows that, you know, they just can't say, right? So, but for me, like I've been saying too, man, they're coming. Somebody's coming back, and it's not something small either. It's something that's actually, because I look at it through our whole solar system, right? Each planet is all heating up. They're doing some funky shit, right? You know, they've noticed that, like, other planets that have volcanoes that are erupting, and actually even touching their outer part of their atmosphere, so we could see it from space. You know, you see some weird shit through the Soho satellite. You know, there's some weird shit jumping in and out or sucking energy from this thing. I don't know, man. The way that, you know, people always talk about, you know, even through, like, let's go through biblical, you know, they're saying, you know, the time has come, and, you know, the great whatever, you know, they want the whole world to end. But anyway, with that, you kind of have to take some of that history and kind of look at it as well, like something, you know, all these other people that talk about, you know, their space brothers and shit like that, they have also talked about, you know, they're saying they're going to come back. They'll return. You know, their gods will return. So maybe that's it. Maybe we're getting ready. You know, it's not like these, you know, some of these presidents got to know something, you know. You know, maybe it's not as much as they want to, but you got to know, like, why would we have another Space Force? So if we're intended to one time in life go to outer space, again, like I was talking earlier, you need to have some kind of a force, right? Something to deal with, you know. So maybe, and that's the case sometimes, you know, like people said, you know, we've taken down UFOs, and maybe that's why we've kept some of these other species out, you know, at bay, because we've shown that we have the ability to take these things down. And from what I hear back then it was radar systems. You know, the first radar systems we was using was the able to take these things down, which was actually surprised them. And these are just stories that, you know, you can hear, you know, throughout. I'm sorry.
I've heard something similar where we were able to mess with them, and much easier. Well, nukes were one, but and we discovered another way to easily take them down. It's actually what the remote viewers found is that during the Roswell event, I suspect that we had a meeting with the aliens and we betrayed them and shot them down, basically. And you know, who knows how the government has been managing these relationships, right, with all these different extraterrestrial groups. We could be the dicks of the universe, the galaxy, right? We wouldn't know. Humans could be like, Earth could be revered as like the biggest dicks in the galaxy, or maybe they're heroes, right? I think that it's probably somewhere in between. But I did hear that, yeah, where we managed to be able to shoot them down, and it did surprise them.
So they say.
So they say too, though, with the whole nuclear, the nuclear thing is because the reason why they told us not to, you hear stories of other, races saying not to use those things. And the reason for it is because when they have a nuclear explosion, right, that type of power that sends out through the reverberations throughout, the ripples throughout, into space, it actually called some races towards us because, they could feel that or they sensed that or somehow, and they, moved because they knew what that was, and it's like, it's weird. It's the thing that, in the Sumerian stories, they call it the 7 weapons of terror, but actually that's what they were. They were some kind of a nuclear weapon because, they call it this green or the fog of destruction that came after that, It's like, the nuclear fallout after that shit that came in. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. And that they're not the only ones that talked about some shit like that. But yeah, it's history just repeating itself. That's what I believe. And there's a return of something, and we're getting prepared. That's what I believe. And you have to, though. If you're going to do that into space exploration, if you're going to move off planet, you need to have all that. You need to be prepared. That's always the plan.
Oops, I muted myself. I like it, man. A great take on that. As always, Kelly, good shit, man. We're going to keep watching this. We're going to keep watching the press coverage. We're going to see what maybe comes out from this 6-month report. I'm not hopeful because I know that the government's lying bastards and the media helps them. But we'll see. We'll see what we can glean out of the propaganda. Thank you for the call, my friend. I appreciate all the good insight. As always, we'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right, brother. You guys take it easy.
Thanks a lot, man. You too. You too. Not to run you off, we got a call behind you. Let's do it. Let's go to Axel Steele. What's up, buddy? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Ash. How are you?
Hey, Mike. Hey, Ash. I know you can't hear me.
He can hear you. He's good. You're on Discord.
Oh, I hear you. You sound great, man.
Oh, okay.
Good job.
You sound great. You sound so good.
Well, then I'm glad. Hi to you too, Ash. So I figured I'd call in. And, I know I talked about this on the Friday news show a little bit, but I put on my thinking hat. I was trying to figure out what I think the government is up to with this push-pull strategy. And I sort of assume they're just doing the same thing they were doing back in the 60s with Blue Book. You gather all the UAP reports together, and then you explain 90% of them, because, it's mostly our own craft or whatever. And then the 10% that you don't want to explain, they're our own craft you don't want to talk about, or that you don't have an explanation for. Well, you just hope that since you explain 90% of them, everyone figures there must be an explanation for the other 10% too. And then you rinse and repeat every 30 years or so.
As a way of just keeping us from the truth, right? Like the whole point is to confuse us and lead us along the carrot on the stick type of thing. Is that what you mean?
Well, I mean, they probably do. I mean, there are lots of people who see these things, and so you don't really want, you don't want people looking into what you don't want them looking into. So you go, guys, these all have rational explanations. These are our new spy balloons. And a lot of times those will turn out to be. I think a lot of times what happens is they admit to the technology that's basically obsolete. And then the stuff that is not obsolete yet is the stuff they don't want people looking at. It kind of reminds me of, they only really admitted to the U-2 program once the U-2s weren't useful anymore because we had satellites that did the job better.
That makes sense. Hot take on that, Ash?
So that...
No, I think it's obviously whatever their best stuff is, they need to keep that under wraps. So whatever they do to admit to having is going to be stuff that's not a big deal. I heard that the industrial military complex makes so many tanks, we ran out of places to store them. Because tanks aren't really used anymore, right? If one UFO could take out an infinite amount of tanks. So you're right, whatever technology we're being exposed to or might be potentially disclosed is crap compared to what they really have, which is kind of scary, actually. Yeah, you're right, too, that at any point they could cancel this whole thing. Literally just like come out with a triangle UFO floating balloon that spies on people, and it's done. The whole wind is out of the sails. So we're kind of at the mercy of whatever they kind of want to get out there.
Well, also, like you said earlier, Ash, the government's not a unitary actor, and so it's likely that if you really I'm bumbling. If there are senators like Harry Reid, like Mark Rubio, and they're interested in this stuff, some part of them really thinks aliens might be involved. And so, they're getting on the military's case about tell us what these things are. Well, you have to appease those people somehow too, right? You don't really want them calling a church committee about our skunk work aeronautic product, production or something like that. And so I think that some of this might be aimed at other parts of the government, not really aimed at us. I do agree with the people who are saying that this was so clearly a coordinated push where one day just like every television show had UFO, Navy pilots claiming to have seen UFOs on. Right.
And you're right. It could be that the Air Force's technology has gotten ahead and that the Air Force is spying on the Navy, and the Navy's using this as leverage to basically to put pressure on the Air Force. Maybe one of the branches aren't submitting to participating in Space Force, and then the other branches are ganging up on them. It literally could be any of those things, and we wouldn't know, right? We don't know the geopolitical spectrum of what's going on inside the government or the military.
We don't know what the military, the national security state, and the deep state for that matter, are perfectly capable of coordinating media pushes without President Biden signing off on anything. They have the ability to get news stories placed without direct involvement of the entire government.
All they need is a band member, right? Blink-182, baby.
You know how to trigger me. You know how the hell to trigger me. Now bring up taxes and healthcare. I'm about to flip the table and start throwing punches. Dear Lord. All right. So I appreciate the call, Axel. I don't know, man. I think you're on to some of this here. And we're just, again, question show. We have no answers here. I wish we did. I wish we had these galactic ambassador insiders that could just whisper, the secrets telepathically in our ear from Alpha Centauri, but we don't. So here we are.
Well, if your show gets big enough, maybe you'll get someone pretending to be an insider that's really an Air Force officer feeding you stuff. That can happen.
Nice.
Live the dream.
Live the dream.
One can only dream.
Exactly.
Don't die, Mike. Taxes.
Now you've done it.
Tax time along.
Now you've done it. All right. I appreciate the call, Axel. We'll talk to you soon. Okay. We got to get together to talk about that D&D thing. Ash,
Send me a DM basically anytime, and we'll get together on Discord. It'll only take about 10 minutes to figure out what we want to do.
Okay, got it.
Nice,
got it.
And send me a nude, and I'm down.
Got it.
All right.
There you go.
Thanks, Axel. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Oh boy. This is what happens, right? This is what happens.
We're in the third hour.
We're in the third hour. Yeah, exactly. We start asking for nudes. All right, so we got one more caller in the queue. We got a few minutes left before we wrap this up. Let's final thoughts on this. What the hell do you think is going on with all of this craziness, Ash? I mean, like Axel just said, I agree with him entirely that this is a coordinated effort. And if the press is actually, kind of taking their directions from people like Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates, of course, is what? An asshole, right? I mean, being polite, he's an asshole. So, this is the type of thing that I'm saying that it does not surprise me a single bit that this is now going to become the new shiny object in the press. And every time they need something to kind of wash something out of the news cycle, they're going to get Jacques Vallée or who else? Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellon, these guys are going to get them on the damn shows, and they're going to have them say some shit about some UFOs. And they're going to go, the aliens are here. It's real. It's happening. You watch. It's going to become more prevalent in the news cycle, and it irritates the shit out of me. But there's my take. My take. What do you think?
As long as you stay positive, Mike.
Exactly, right?
You stay, yeah. No, I don't, dude. I honestly, like we say, we keep tabs on stuff, but we don't. At the end of the day, we're left with more questions, right? And that's kind of like how they keep it for us until Z-Blob 5 comes out on TV and pulls down his pants. We don't really know. We don't know what the truth is, and we kind of are at the mercy of these people. But yeah, we're in a weird time, man, and who knows how things are going to move forward and how it's going to be. But and I'm still a little hopeful. I think that ultimately everyone wants to get their money and have their power and their influence. But I feel an energy that we're moving forward to like a more positive future, or at least trying to. I don't know. A lot of great evils are perpetuated in positive intentions, right? But we'll see how it turns out. There was a thing I was trying to remember. Anyway, I guess that's it for me. I can't fucking remember what I was going to say. God damn it.
That's all right.
It was good, I swear.
That's okay. We got Jay here with us. So Jay's going to jog your memory.
Mike, how are you?
What's up,
Ash,
Jay?
Pleasure.
Doing great, man. Thanks for listening.
You guys have really got the wheels going up there tonight. I mean, I think we're heading into fifth gear now. It's Ash was talking earlier that we've done all these things. We've had the technological advances and stuff like that, and throughout time and everything else like that, we've had the opportunity to get people from other countries. I'm trying to dance around the censorship, Mike.
Thank you.
Have we, if we were going to take the guy who can build us a rocket, hey, come over here and help us out. We want to build Russia. They put that Sputnik thing up there. We, want to get a dog or a monkey or whatever. Why wouldn't we take the guys that were taking the best pictures for the newspaper, or the magazine, or this is the story we're going to run today, or the best actor, or the best, conductor of symphony or something? We didn't take those people too. I mean, let's be a little bit realistic about, back to the beginning of the conversation. We've been using these things.
You're saying like it's not the most talented people and the right people that we use for these jobs. It's the people who like keep secrets, like the corruption, right? And to keep that going, and that's the priority, right? Not the
maybe
the
maybe juice emoji that I still can't find on the Discord, but it's just I really think that we're like being prepped. This is possibly going to happen, and we want everybody to start talking about it a little bit more fluently now, and not afraid that they're going to shut you down or your hardware store or whatever because you're a Looney Tune, because, you got pictures of the satellite flying across the sky that all of a sudden disappeared. But
yeah, the conversation is definitely going to change now, and
I look up at the sky every opportunity I have, Ash, and tonight, you see the satellites up there. The difference between stars and satellites. Satellites cruise along pretty good. I noticed one that was cruising along a little bit better than most today. I was like, wow, I'm going to go get my binoculars and see if I can get my iPhone in there and take a good picture to put it on the Discord. And as soon as I had that thought process, it was gone. And then the cloud planes came in with their the cloud planes. Let's just call them that. So we're not adding to it all. Now we're overcast. The whole place is overcast. It's all overcast. And it's just like, are we in a situation where we've been fighting this forever and ever? Adam and Eve day? Are we coming to the Book of Revelations now? The great spirits and the star people? All of Kelly there, the Sumerians and everything else like that he was talking about. I mean, there's a lot of history that's there and written down in ancient texts that we spent millions and millions of dollars in having kids sit there and try to cipher the code. Has it been there right in front of our face the whole time? the pictures of the books that I sent to you? Do you open? How come there's like 8-9 pages that are unopened, and then there's 3 in a row that are 9 pages that are unopened? Is there some kind of a little number system on how you read the book?
What are you talking about? Are you speaking in code? What are you talking about?
No. I have a Mason's Encyclopedia set. My house was built way back in the early 1800s, and there was I sent them to Ash. I opened up the books and I was trying to show them to Ash that the book is bound backwards, if you could imagine that. So every other page, you're skipping a page. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Am I getting that through right?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So if you want to read the page that's closed, you need a letter opener. So when you open up the encyclopedia set and you start leafing through it to see if the funeral director that owned the house after the first guy did hit a 20 in there or something, leafing through the books, why are half of them bound backwards? And then why are there like 2 or 3 pages that are closed, and then like 8 pages open, and then 2 or 3 pages closed, and then 8 opened? Is that how you have to read the book? Is that part of becoming part of that group, that in order for you to learn that information, you have to learn how to read the book through the 3 or the 7 or the 8 or the whatever it is?
I have no idea, bro. I have no idea. You guys send me this information. Like you're kind of bringing it up a little bit out of context here, so I'm a little confused. So send me some pictures or something, and I can comment. But I don't know. I've never seen that, and I don't know anything about it. That sounds spooky as fuck, though, if you're asking me, just from how you describe it. So. Go ahead. Let's finish this up, man. We're over time here. I've been at 3 long hours.
I'm sorry.
I've been talking in a microphone for 3 damn hours. I thought
you were going for the Guinness Book of World Records, man.
Yeah.
Get back to it, Mike.
Yeah.
You're enslaved. Don't you stop talking. You have another 5 hours.
Don't you stop talking. No. Yeah. All right. But yeah, let's wind it up, man. We got to. Well, we're on a schedule here. My dog needs to go outside. You understand what I'm saying?
I got you. Tell Stephanie and what was it, David or Daniel there, to join the Discord, get in here and chat with us. You know, bring what you got, give us your opinion, talk to us, and we'll teach you how to do the crypto.
There you go.
You know, I mean, just get in here and talk to us. And if every one of us comes and gives just a little bit of, hey, I saw this. What's that? We don't need the government to disclose it to us. We don't need,
No.
Well, I thought about it this way, it was kind of like when Axel called, that's his take on it. And I was really interested to hear that, because I want to know what he thinks, because that'll make my gears turn maybe a little bit different.
Exactly right.
The same way when Kelly calls, and Sean is cool from Canada, but it just makes your brain go, let's think about these things. Let's talk about them. What's your idea? Okay. My idea was stupid. Well, the stupidest question is the one that's never asked.
There you go.
Ask the question.
And you're on the damn question show. Yeehaw! That's how we do this. That's how we do it. Jay, you're the best. We got another outro with Jay. I appreciate it, my man. You want to stay in as we finish this up? I can mute you, leave you in?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it. One more outro with Jay. Here we go. All right. We're done. We're done, Ash. We're done, man. Plug the channel. Plug the hell out of that channel.
You're listening to CNN News.
No!
I'm your host, Reptilian Overlord, Ash. Listen to what we have to say. No, this is Ash, the Reptilian from Mars. Thank you for tuning in. Check out my channel. Check out my videos. Comment. Engage with you. And always a pleasure. Let's keep tabs on this stuff. We will. And we'll see where we go. We're in a new era. A new time.
The age of Aquarius means We're in the age of the UFO, or so Anderson Cooper would like us to think. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, it pisses me off a little bit, but it's all right. Here we are talking about it. We're going to keep on talking about it. I don't know, Anton. I barely know who Stephanie is. I think it's going to become an inside joke. I don't know. So as we finish this, we'll be back tomorrow. I think I've got family in town, so I don't know exactly what's going to go on tomorrow. So if you want to be like on the razor's edge of WTF happens at 7 p.m. tomorrow, well, join the Discord, troubledminds.org, click the Discord link, and I'll announce right in there whether we're doing a show or not. If I can arrange a rerun or something, maybe I'll do that. But if I can squeak in a live show, maybe I'll do that. Let's find out. The suspense is killing me. Let's finish this up. We're done. I don't know. Again, we started talking about this. I got some great ideas from all the great people that called tonight. And I'm back at square one. I don't know a damn thing about any of this. And that's irritating as well. So, all right, let's finish this up. And we're done. We're out of here. You know how it goes. Be sure, be strong, be true. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific, probably. If not, we'll be back Friday for sure at 3 p.m. on Twitch doing the news show. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night. Thanks for hanging out, guys. You all are the best.
Bye, y'all.
Says I'm getting a headache. Me too. Me too. I give myself a headache. Go ahead, Ash. You're about to say something.
I was just trying to get the last word.
Dick.
I am a reptilian.
How about a screech? Can you use a screech? Dance, Ash, dance.
No, I don't want to.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I haven't drank enough.
Okay, that's fine.
Reptilian. I haven't huffed enough reptilian gas.
All right.
I have an idea for tomorrow. I'm going to pass you.
All right.
So, tune in, guys. Tune in. It may be a hell of a show. Maybe.
All right. There it is. Have a great night, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We'll catch you tomorrow or Friday. Join the Discord if you have not. Announcement will be there. Have a great night, guys.